Hello, everybody. Ooh. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week of Otter Talk. I am When It Rains. As always, joining me tonight, we have Jake Almighty, Leviathan, and Tawny2K to talk about Gauntlet. Tonight is our Gauntlet week. Bunch of best of ones. So no more best of these, no insane, fearless, crazy matches. It's gonna be a intense match all the way through. No second chances. People are going to be struggling. This is really the last match that people have, or sorry, the last week that people have to prove themselves. So what we did tonight, as opposed to your standard always having predictions, is we did predicted runs, seeing how things are going to turn out. What we can do is we can throw it over to Ruby first to talk about our predicted runs in Ruby. First up, we have the Battle of the Birds. Our bottom two seeds are the Eagles and the Falcons. And that seems like a pretty almost unanimous decision. We have one dissenter, Leviathan.
So
Your
here for that.
your belief stands.
I do. They got a game against astronauts, So I think it might happen.
Sure, they got a game against my team too.
Yeah, surely.
They did, right? Because
yeah, they did.
The real question is, does that speak more about Falcons or?
No, yeah, speak more about them. I think they're turning up.
All right. Well, I believe in Eagles. Same as many. I also believe in the match versus the Shrooms. I really want to believe because if Psycho cannot do it again, if this happens again with another team like this, I have lost all faith, and I feel like Psycho's never gonna mentally recover.
Oh, poor guy.
I'm just the king hater, so I will never pick Psycho to win unless it's against the Falcons.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm
that.
rooting for my boy Boogie Nerd. I think that brother's gonna carry. He's been turning up lately. I don't know what unlocked in his head, but
even versus the astronauts, which not the craziest season ever, but we have the TTM bias going into Gauntlet. You don't think that's maybe gonna take over? Some comp rulings might happen?
No, not yet. The comp rulings are going to be saved. They don't need them yet.
They don't need them? Okay. Good to know. I mean, I think, all things considered, Ruby Gauntlet is... There are a couple moments for upset, but I don't think it's going to be as exciting as Sapphire Gauntlet, which we can move into right now. Which, we have some, let's call it interesting responses for the Sapphire Gauntlet that I think people were not really accounting for. Yeah.
Okay, wait. I say Honeycombs won the last one, but that's okay.
Oh. Okay. I will go in and fix that. Hold on one moment, please.
Okay, I'm based, but not that based.
Okay, based, but not that based. We like to see it. Yeah, no, it seems like most people were in the land of the living, me and Leviathan being most people. Tawny and Jake, you
50%.
have the... So, Jake, you have Snakes over Rona, which is interesting. Then you have Honeycombs, which is much more realistic. Tawny, you have the Dragon Sweep all the way through. Do you believe? Do you believe? Are you a believer?
My take here is that I think the Ronin are going to blow up. I don't think their mental's in it. It's a best of one as well. It's not a best of three. It only takes one game. You're one game out of here. I think that Dragons and Honeycombs is fairly close. I think that Honeycombs, while they look better on paper, I mean, anything can happen. It's best of one.
They look better on paper. They look better in game. They look better in real life.
Okay.
So you think the Dragons have a chance to make it all the way through?
I mean, if they win the first two games, they're in playoffs. The last game is seeding.
I mean,
that is true.
Fair, Dragons is just honorary Ruby, so like we're just rooting for our boys.
True. But I do think that they're in a pretty good mental state at the moment after the trade for Persia. I think that they're in a decent way. So I think that they can propel with better mental than some particular teams.
Nah, I disagree. I think the Ronins are going to be a block, 100% for the Dragons. They are like in a good they had a good week, but the Ronins, they they created a name inside Sapphire. And I although I do think Honeycombers and Ronins are very close, it's just a best of one, and I think that impacts a lot.
True.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know if I believe in the total collapse of Ronin, but I will say second match is probably going to be one of the most exciting of the night. I think that's where a lot of things are going to be made or broken. And as far as seeding goes, once you're in, after match 2, everyone's knocked out. So if Ronin get knocked out in 7th place, I think that'll be pretty insane, especially given the way we've seen the season shaping up. They haven't been a bad team, right? By any metrics, they've just been sort of middle of the road. But Typhoons, Honeycombs, and Ronin have all sort of been middle of the road with almost exact game scores. Typhoons only going 8-8, Honeycombs going 8-9. Same with Ronin 8-9. So all those teams are sort of in contention.
I don't think it's fair to consider that Ronin have had the same. They beat the Raiders, where none of these other teams did.
That is true. That is true. That Ronin has beat the Raiders. So I think the Ronin has their moments of glory. In addition, I think what people forget is in a best of one format, Ronin are gonna have some crazy shit to pull out. They are the draft team that when you get into drafts and you don't have a second game to adapt to things, you're gonna be dealing with the mixed bag of tricks, the rabbit out of the hat per se. And I don't know if dragons or snakes can handle that. Alright, well, it doesn't seem like we have too many more comments. Anyone has some upsets? Anyone thinking going into playoffs? Anyone has any shit to talk or things to say about the playoff matches before we head off for tonight?
I think the Imperials without a ban are going to be significantly hamstrung against any team they play against.
That's not happening.
Oh, well, smile.
Here's my prediction for Sapphire. I think Wizards 3-0 every single one of their series. I think 2 series, right?
Oh, I'm in the opposite. I think Wizards are gonna get out in the first round of playoffs as soon as they play.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
They will be playing. They will be playing against
well.
Raiders. They will be playing against Raiders, and or whichever they choose, winner of Gauntlet. So, or whichever person coming out of Gauntlet. Meanwhile, Skeletons just have to play Typhoons or the team that isn't chosen. So the fact that you think Wizards are going out first, you think that either Ronin, Dragons, or Snakes are going to take Wizards out in the first round of playoffs.
I do. I feel like after 7 weeks, I think you can crack the code with Wizards, especially after the Raiders match.
Holy cow!
I think you can. At least in my head, in my royal view, I think if you prepare enough, it's a clean sweep.
Alrighty then.
I think that we have Stephen A on the cast tonight.
Oh, we did. Did we consider that? Did we consider the contrarian? I don't think we did, but it's the hot takes are still hot, and we're not living in the realm of reality. I'm gonna send it to a short break. When we come back, we will be in the match. We have Dragons versus Snakes first up on the docket for tonight. Should be a fun match. Movable force versus stoppable object. What a lot of people are saying. So we'll see who breaks first. But for now, thank you all for watching. We will see you in just a bit, and good luck to all of our Gauntlet players tonight.
Good luck, fellow Gauntletians.
Side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move. Side to
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Blue Otter Draft League. I am When It Rains. Joining me is Becky Rita, and tonight we are back in Sapphire for the Gauntlet, at least the start of it. We have Snakes versus Dragons. This is a best of one, meaning we will not be going into Fearless, and the draft that stands is the draft that you get. That's all. That's all there is. It's one or nothing.
Yeah, every team's got one shot to fight for their life here in the Gauntlet. So as we go through the first round of bans here, how the Gauntlet will work is we currently have our 7th seed team facing off against our 8th seed team. The winner of this game will move on to face the 6th seed from the regular season, that being Ronin, and the winner of that game will move on to face the Honeycombs, our 5th seed, to fight for that 5th seed. So the loser of this match is out, and then the loser of the next match versus the Ronin is out of playoff contention. So stakes are very high in this game for both of these teams, and these are two teams that have had a very tumultuous season across the board. The Snakes picking up no wins, only a single game win. Meanwhile, the Dragons having more success and a good upset victory over the Skeletons, but otherwise remain in 7th. So very intense match, and hopefully it will at least be, if nothing else, entertaining, as we have Gwen as our first pick here into Malcolm Graves. R1
right,
Malcolm Graves.
So we are just taking carry junglers here. We want to fight. I like to see it. I like the confidence.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. I think for Glare earlier on in the season, I believe this is the Kha'Zix one trick. As you can tell by the Kha'Zix being the first ban, has been trying out different things. I think the Gwen could be one of those different things that may find success, but I think Wraith may also play that pick, and it could just be a flex, as we do have the Jhin will be responding to the Ashe, 2 utility 80 carries with similar goals and purposes. In the draft, I'm curious to see if we'll pick up our support here, or if we will go for the blind pick on mid and then try to pinch supports in our next round of bans.
Yeah, we'll have to say, right now we're looking at carries, we have some junglers, and the Diana. Okay, so keeping a bit of flexibility open, either of these AP characters could go jungle, or they could swap into their respective roles, although Diana has become much more of a jungler in recent times, and Into the Graves is a much more standard pick.
Yeah, a much more standard pick. Diana getting picked up, an interesting choice for sure. Is definitely going to fight that Graves, sending the... Although this could be Diana mid, theoretically. I don't know if it is, but there could still be some flex shenanigans. And we're going to actually see the Dragons pick up their support here, locking in that partner to the Ashe. I'm kind of surprised they didn't go for the Braum themselves. Braum and Ashe work really well together, and the Braum would kind of do a good job to shut down both the curtain call from Jhin and also some of that deep dive from Gwen and Diana, just with a good Glacial Fissure disrupting that. But the Leona does the same job, so I don't necessarily disagree with it if it's a preferred pick. So, interested going forward what the other bans are. I imagine we're going to see 2 support bans coming out from the Dragons, and Snakes do have the potential to pinch some top laners or mid laners.
Yeah, and I'd imagine that's probably what we see, especially since we have all these picks locked in. Dragons, they just want to stop any type of peel, use the fact that they have a really strong all-in and engage comp, banning out the Braum, banning out the Karma, those 2 really standard picks that you see with the Jhin when you're not being paired with the Leona, things that are a bit more priority. So I'm not surprised to see that. Meanwhile, Snakes double targeting top lane here, sort of showing that they do want that Gwen to go top. They do want that Gwen up into a good matchup, and putting out 2 of her best counters is a really smart idea.
Yeah, they will make it easier for the Gwen to actually survive. As we do have the Yok-S will be locked in here. Almost certainly going to be that top lane Yok-S into the Gwen, although Malcolm can solo lane. It's just not going to be pretty if he decides, if this ends up being a solo lane Malcolm for the Dragons. As we do have potentially the Gwen Diana was a ruse here. Okay, no ruses quite yet as we lock in the Corki for the mid lane. I can't imagine where else Jin would go. So Corki for mid, which leaves us a support, and they will go for the Soraka. At least they're hovering it. Don't necessarily know how much I like the Soraka, all things considered, but Rescued, I think, does well on the pick, so I'll trust. So going forward, we do have the Galio going to be the R5 here. Going to be responding to, now that they know that that's going to be the Corki in mid, they go for the Galio, which is a bit strange considering they have all the options in the world, and we're picking
I guess
Galio
we're not
for
putting
some
any stock
reason.
into these physical carries, right? Like, we're just going all in on this engage game plan, saying that the damage types don't really matter, that we're just going to win the fight before it can even start. And with these solar flares, with these enchanted crystal arrows, you look at something where not having a real front line, not having someone who can tank those big engage spells, you're gonna end up getting run through if you don't position right. If you're not careful with this comp, you will just get run down. The Graves, the Galio, the Jax can all get on top of you really easily, can line things up, and it's gonna be really hard to try and land a re-engage when your health bars are already gone, right? You just don't have that same sort of survivability, especially if they get onto the Soraka. You're just not sustaining through that fight. You're not beating that initial engage. And when you come out of it, you might just be too weak to fight back. It doesn't matter if you have a really clean counter engage. If you have this, if two of your carries are already dead, there's not going to be a whole lot you can do.
Yeah, gonna have to be something to be concerned about. That is kind of one of the pitfalls of picking the Soraka, is that she really works best at enabling champions who are alive. And if you just get destroyed instantly before Soraka can save you, then that's a lot of value lost for the pick. The Silence Field is pretty good, and it does have some ability to kind of shut down the more obviously telegraphed angles coming in from the Dragons, but it's very slim in terms of what the Soraka can do if the engage is layered well from the Dragons, which is presumably their plan. Meanwhile, the Snakes have a very strange composition where we are picking champions that we like and are attempting to maybe team fight with them. Go late with the Soraka, Corki, Gwen and hope for the best. I don't know. I don't really know what the Snakes game plan is. It's not very... Nothing really stands out. So looking at this draft here, if I had to make a call, I do favor the Dragons here. I think that they do have a more coherent game plan. The Snakes have picked some interesting champions that have quite an X factor to them. And if the Soraka is capable of making some mischief on the Rift, then theoretically the Snakes could make something happen, but I feel like the Dragons just have too coherent of a composition where the lockdown, they can either decide to blow up an AD carry or just choose to blow up Soraka, in which case a lot of that power of that pick is lost, and then it's down to the carries of the Snakes to weather the onslaught of Malcolm and Ashe just pummeling them with everything and the kitchen sink.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think, when you're looking at the bottom teams, it's like I see a lot of intriguing things happening on the Snakes. I don't know if they can pull it off. They have not won a best of three at all, but they have won a couple best of ones. They have managed to take a couple games off, but it's still, I don't know if I'm that confident. I think it's just a little bit too risky to play like this, especially when it's a one and done situation. So we'll have to see who ends up taking it. My money is still on Dragons for right now.
Yep. So with that said, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be in on the Rift after the spectator delay. So stick around. Action coming at you after the break.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome back into the Rift. We're in game for the Snakes versus the Dragons. Our game one, we have Dragons with a very aggressive composition here versus Snakes playing a little bit further back, and we actually see some standard Banana Man going top lane. Or sorry, no, what? Oh, I guess they just got into draft wrong. I was looking at things a little bit wonky. Yeah, so it will be pretty standard. Banana Man going mid, Wraith going top lane. Um, Looks like there's just a little bit of confusion when we got into the League of Legends draft, but things look pretty standard now. And this, I think, is what we were expecting to see a lot. That Jax Gwen, much more of that skill matchup. The Galio definitely losing out to the Corki in that early game, but overall things, a lot of a sort of back and forth pull with both junglers being these sort of carry farming junglers rather than having a ton of CC, rather than being gank machines.
Yeah, and it's something that they're going to have to kind of consider when setting things up. I think that's part of the reason why both these teams really opted for the Jhin and the Ashe, is when you play around a carry jungler, you need to have your lanes be able to actually set up for you. I think that the Dragons have better tools to set up for Graves. You do have Galio with his many CC tools, his knock up into taunt, into Graves can come in, drop a bean can, and it's just bad news all around. Of course, Leona and Ashe are really good at setting up for Graves to go crazy. Meanwhile, it really is just kind of Diana all on her lonesome. Like, you maybe get the Jhin to land a root, but it is going to be a bit more difficult for Glare to actually get some of these ganks off. So I would not be surprised to see Glare opting into more of that just kind of Roomba farming style, looking for the easiest gank you've ever seen in your entire life, or maybe just counter ganking, whereas, tracking and counter ganking, whereas if I'm Crawl, I am absolutely looking to make use of the power my bot lane or mid lane have and just punish the enemies. I think that Soraka is a very easily punishable target. If you play well around the Silence Field, it should be pretty easy to get onto her. Corki maybe less so because he has Valkyrie, but as you can see there, it's always very amusing watching Valkyrie just like do chip damage. It's just a very funny ability. You forget that it actually does damage, and then it actually like hurts you, and it's like, ow, ow. Ow.
It wasn't even changed that long ago. I was about to say these young bloods don't know the package, but they probably do. It was last year that they made that change?
Yeah,
So...
it was last year where they got rid of the package, and really it was for the best. As much as I loved the Corki package.
It was awesome, but yeah, it basically turned Corki and like entire Corki fights into just like, okay, cool, we're only allowed to fight every 4 minutes,
I'm gonna hit you with the biggest Rumble ulti of my entire life, or I get to blow my package in the forest.
And it doesn't matter at all. The biggest thing with package 2 was that like you wanted to build more into your ult damage than like actually autoing people, because it helped your spell damage as well with your package. So it would just Corki would just be this big weird hybrid. God, the Malignance Manimmune Trinity Force build. That was what you built on Corki. That was an insane thing. Now though, Crawl coming in has to be careful though, because Bananaman does have the wave, and Graves does not fight in waves very well. Gonna try and hold this wave. Buy some time for Papa Doggo.
Glare is just gonna
Papa Doge coming over. Glare flashes over the wall, but Crawl with a well-timed dash gonna be able to back it off. Papa Doge going for some damage, but probably not going to be able to finish off the kill. Just picking up the Ruby Crystal and the Reju Beads means that there's not a lot of damage coming out.
Yeah. Glare going for a bit of an ambitious play, trying to hope that Crawl goes greedy, going back to that reclear on the top side jungle, flashing over the wall, but just wasn't able to land the Q. Crawl was able to dip dodge out of that one, and was able to kind of just survive. Meanwhile, Wraith is just going to drop the fire onto Bear, and on the bot side, we've got a fight. Verja will be picking up 1 kill here as Aerodactyl trying to fire back. The trap will slow Verja down, but no root coming out from Aerodactyl means that Ashe should be fine, but Wraith, on the other hand, is not going to be fine, as we got a bean can dropped on to the Gwen. No flash on this champion. Just one more auto.
Yeah, he uses the Q, finally finished it off. Collateral damage, or sorry, oh god, I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen Graves in so long. Collateral damage is the ultimate.
Yeah, it's his ulti.
Oh god, what's the...
I have no idea. I
might be able to tell you the original Q back when Graves was a 1 auto range character.
I guess that is one of the things he says. Thank you, Chippy.
Thank you. Yeah, no. Oh man, back in the day when Graves was just Lucian too.
Yeah. Now that's a
throwback right there.
Those are the old times.
Yeah, they should. When was the great ADC restructuring, the Marksman rework? That was season 6? 7?
I remember that. See, okay. We
Oh,
don't
no.
need to reminisce. We've got
we
a
have to silence,
heroic entrance.
Glare. Okay, manages to pick up the dragon, will go down in the process, unfortunately. And Dragon's picking up the feat of warfare. But at least Snakes were able to get a dragon off of it. Will they be able to get more? That remains to be seen. Banana Man wants to go forward, forced to use the flash as Papa Doge jumps in with Justice Punch. Carl trying to finish people off. The root comes through, but it's only on a side click, who is still pretty tanky on the Leona. Papa Doge going for the taunt, but
that was ill-advised.
Massive misplay, yeah. Everyone seemed to be out there. They didn't have a lot of movement left, unless Aerodactyl was going to try and do some insane flash movement just to force some summoners, but Papa Doge instead going for the taunt, throwing away the 1-kill advantage that they got. Now Dragons, still with Feats of Warfare, but gold even backed up thanks to that kill, and it is Snakes with a dragon as well, so those 2 kills not as important as they may seem.
Yeah, it is definitely, you know, they lose 2 there. That's not great, but they don't lose a lot of tempo, and that's what's really important about this. Diana already back on the map, taking the first round of Grubbins on the top side without any contest here is going to be very good for them, because that means that now puts them 1 away from getting that feat off of neutral camp. So they just need the next Drake or the second round of Grubbins, and they will be set and good to go, which is fantastic. However, of course, giving over a kill to the Graves is never a good thing. Galio, it is very strange. I think obviously Papa Doge is trying to go for a taunt into a super quick kill, but with his HP as low as it was, we did have the aftershock. The defenses were still up, but they were decaying rapidly, and it was just kind of ill-advised to go for that. I see the theory. I understand why they thought it would be a good idea. Glare may not be in a great spot, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be careful. Glare, flash from Bear, unnecessary, and also ill-advised, as now the Needlestorm's gonna be able to take him out and give Wraith an opening to engage back onto Crawl. One more cast of the Needlestorm. Crawl gonna be able to try and flash and dash away from it. The red buff maybe keeping him safe. The fleet footwork, so much movement speed. Now it might be Wraith in trouble. Banana Man over the wall, manages to pick up Crawl. Now it's just Papa Doge and Banana Man rotated to the top side of the map, as it ends up being a 2-for-2 when all is said and done. But it was Snakes being able to pick up that full round of Void Grubs. So Snakes are actually ahead on objectives and gold as well, because of the CS advantage in mid and the sort of shutdowns coming through where the gold is being placed. So, you know, while there is 1 towards Feats for Dragons, it's actually Snakes with a minor advantage right now.
Yeah, I think the Banana Man setting themselves up very well this game, with that kill there. You know, a good roam from the Banana Man to kind of punish that. I will say it was a good kind of ambush from the side of the Dragons onto Glare. Glare did their best to survive with the Moonfall, but it just was not enough. But Wraith, being quick on the draw to turn that back around, was able to get one, flip another one, lower the HP bar low enough. I think maybe could went in a little too deep. You know, Corky's on their way, so you might as well just back out rather than throw your life away. Granted, I think Galio might have just had that to death, that Gwen to die, but it is what it is. The big thing here is that the Corky ended up getting the double buffs out of that, which it's already in a winning lane. It's going to be very, very good for the Corky to have those double buffs, at least for a little while. Graves on the bot side here. Diana having to recall Crawl. There's no vision, so they don't know where Graves is, but I don't think there's really a good opportunity anywhere on the map, so he's kind of just... Crawl is just kind of having to walk back and forth and hoping for the best, as top lane continues to be a skill-based brawl.
Yeah, and right now it's Bear on the losing end. Wraith, with 1 more cast of the Needlestorm, gonna completely whiff it, but still has enough damage to do a lot to Bear's HP bar. And without Flash, without anything to return, Bear gonna be forced to back. Once again, does have the TP to try and get back up there, and Crawl to try and hold the wave or do something. But Glare is here as well. Smokescreen over the wall. They do know that Glare's being collapsed on, but Wraith wanted the plate and might leave his jungler to die to do so. Gonna be forced to flash out there. Might have been had to do that anyway, but so many plates. Because Papa Doge was on the roam up top, it's also going to give leeway for Banana Man to take up those plates in mid, and you could just see this gold lead slowly advancing towards Snakes. As I say that, though, an immediate Solar Flare down onto Rescued, who gets taken down. Verja firing with the lethal tempo. Aerodactyl doing a lot of damage. Verja as well. One more auto would have done it, but now the curtain call coming out. Side click going to be forced to block. One more auto, though. The engage from side click.
No!
What am I watching? Almost managed to land the E, and the bouncing grenade at the end of it all. Verja and side click both taken down. Aerodactyl putting the engage on his back, what looked bad, but keeping the Snakes in the lead now at a clean 1,000.
Dragons decided to just break their own ankles there. You know, Verja and Cyclic, they saw Aerodactyl was on the ropes, they got a perfect kill on the Rescue, and they're like, alright, now listen up. Let's make it harder for ourselves.
That was insane.
Verja burning no sums, had flash and barrier, burned neither to try and get that kill. We saw Cyclic going for a very ambitious maneuver, attempting the Zenith Blade out of range to stop the Jhin ulti that we could have just walked out of. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just a bit of a miscalculation, I think, from the side of the Dragons. If Verja had, you know, a little bit more faith in their power, maybe they could have gotten that one, but it's a huge swing for Aerodactyl in the bot lane. We saw a 2v2 tussle in the top side there, but, you know, the Soraka ambulance arrived just in time.
Yeah, lifesaver indeed, but yeah, it's not looking great. You have Aerodactyl, you know, really far ahead now in this bot side, and while the Graves is 3-1, does have that, the gold is quite spread out for the Snakes, so it's a bit more well-rounded. Meanwhile, in the Dragons, you know, you do have it all on your two main carries, and, you know, with people opting more into damage than any type of physical resistance, that's going to help. The big issue I see is Aerodactyl being able to get so much damage down with that curtain call. Now, Wraith, once again, going for Bear in the top side, gonna be able to block the Hallowed Mist, try and walk out. Crawl does have enough damage, gonna flash over the wall, using that fleet footwork to try and advance. It will be the Soraka heal coming through, the ultimate to try and back it up. The smoke screen slow comes through. Glare is here to back up if needed, but getting out to the Cloud Drake speed zone, and Glaire's Q over the wall just to warn him, Crawl off, saying that, hey, leave my top laner alone. And because of that chase, once again, leaving Banana Man free to do as he pleases in the mid lane, tower goes down and Snakes end up picking up feats.
Yeah, again, very good punish from Banana Man there. Seeing that, you know, they send everybody to kind of get Bear out of a sticky situation, which required, you know, 3 people. I don't necessarily know if they needed to send Galio. I think Graves alone would have been enough to throw that aside. But because Galio ended up going up there and using the heroic entrance, that just opened up a window for Corki to crack that tower in mid. Which we've been seeing him kind of, you know, soften that tower up throughout the game, and this is kind of the payoff of opting into not counter roam against a champion like Galio, where if you hope your team is not going to fall apart against the person roaming on you, you kind of just pick up a lot of free turrets, free CS, and that's really good for a champion like Corki, who absolutely wants to have an early as power spikes as soon as possible, relative to the other damage dealers on the map. Not quite the late game hyper carry monster you saw in the past when you have Corki with the package, but definitely still a threat to be reckoned with, especially in this mid game once we have that Muramana completed. Will be extremely dangerous, and I think Banana Man setting themselves up well for that as Wraith's going for this.
Yeah, looking for the kill. Wraith picks it up. Tower not going to return, and this time Crawl isn't on the top side to help out. Now Aerodactyl, though, falls. The shutdown going over to side click, unfortunately, but Blair goes in, lands the double ultimate. Unfortunately, the damage just quite isn't there at the start. Will manage to pick up side click, but in the meantime, it's going to be Crawl going down as well. Or sorry, Crawl picking up the kill as well. Verja picks up one more. And Dragons, what was looking bad for them, they are still at a gold deficit, but a lot of shutdowns coming through in the bot side, and a big kill from Papa Doge up on the top side. Gonna start evening up that gold lead, bring it back down to around 1,000, where it was 2,000 before. And with Dragon coming up in just a minute, being able to get a lot of gold onto your carries, being able to return that so that you're able to try and stop that drag stacking is going to be really important.
I think good stuff from Cyclic in that fight there. Cyclic and Verja. We saw kind of the power of setting up for Crawl to come in there in that fight. It was very easy to just, whoever you hit, you take them out. And because of the power of this duo and all the CC that the Dragons have, Rescued had to opt into a really early Mikhail's Crucible. So Mikhail's and Cleanse both. They really want to keep Aerodactyl from just getting CC chained for 1,000 years into death. But, you know, getting CC chained is the least of your worries when you have Malcolm Graves who can jump on top of you.
Yeah, and when you're looking at something like this, it's a bit more difficult now for Snakes to fire back, right? Because while they do have a lot of that gold spread out, they need everyone down here to do anything. Meanwhile, Papa Doge has been splitting it in the top side, just trying to get his team to buy time. Now finally walking down, does have the ultimate, but isn't quite in position to use it just yet. They're trying to wait, they're trying to see, you know, okay, when can Doge join the fight? We've just seen in top side, you know, they might think they have a little bit of room, but it's gonna be Bear rooted up, Cyclic taking a ton of damage now. Finally, the ultimates come through. Big engage from the Galio to cut it off into a two-man taunt, and it's Dragons winning the team fight. One already down. Finally, the Straka heal comes out, but it might be too little, too late as Verja picks up a second one. Finally firing back as 2 kills get picked up for the Snakes. It's just Aerodactyl and Rescue desperately trying, and a flash from Doge with the taunt. Well, Aerodactyl almost had the hero, plays a really nice flash taunt from Doge, means that they're going to pick it up, and a triple kill from Crawl is going to lead to the ace for the Dragons, completely flipping that gold lead back into their favor, giving them full access to that dragon and any towers that they might want to take.
Yeah, Papa Doge is going to be going for that turret in mid. Meanwhile, Crawl's going to clean up that Drake. And that was just a really well-executed fight from the Dragons, and you really got to see what their comp does when it actually comes online. We do have a TP, dueling TPs here.
Yep, Wraith looking for more fighting. Unfortunately, there are 3 members of Dragons already there, and this is sort of what we were talking about with the Snakes just firing back. It will be the take from the Dragons securing it. Double kill for Crawl. Banana Man's still down here, has to be careful, might just die to side click, gets caught with the Zenith Blade. Now Bear jumping on, getting more stuns, and without any flash, without any way out, Banana Man's gonna go down as well, and the Dragons just throw themselves at the Drake, winning the fight. Snakes, 3 bodies and no soul point to speak of. It does not spell a great future for this game. Already now, the gold lead that was once 2,500, now completely flipped, 2,000 for the Dragons, completely stopping the drag stacking. Not looking great right now.
Yeah, the Snakes just decided to give over 3 kills for no reason. I like the TP there from Wraith, I think was a good idea, but once you see the counter TP from Bear, you just give up. You don't try and fight it out. Granted, Crawl is very accelerated, and without the ability to just keep Graves in one spot, it's hard for Wraith to actually kill this Malcolm champion. So it was kind of ill-advised for Wraith to go in, you know, water under the bridge. And then Glare, seeing Wraith tank 3 people at once, is like, okay, here's my hero moment. Smited the Drake at far too early, allowing him to just walk up and smite it. I think if Glare had timed the smite better and stolen that, you know, could have had more value there, but smited egregiously too early. Like, it had 200 left. There was no steal there. Died, and then lastly, Banana Man just decided to die as well for moral support. And Verja is dead here too, but Aerodactyl's gonna try and play.
Yeah, but now Dragon's just picking up more, 1 for 1, and the Rift Herald picked up as well. Dragon's just doing such a great job in this game of absolutely running the show right now, making it feel extremely dire for Snakes.
Yeah, it's looking a little dire here for the Snakes. Verja does still have Flash, just for the record, you know. I gotta make sure we're all aware of this. Verja did save Flash there, probably for the next game, as we are waiting to see what the Dragons do to kind of continue the pressure here. There's no real objective up right now. They do have 2 minutes on the Drake. Apcon is up, but I feel like for either team, it's a little bit risky to go for that this early on. The Snakes obviously can just die to death if they get jumped on by the Dragons, but the Dragons have to worry about all the damage the Snakes have, especially with the Jhin being able to fire on from so far of a range. If they don't have a clear window to take the Otacon, it's very risky for the Dragons to do that as well. So I imagine we're kind of just gonna play the vision game for a little while, you know, take some jungle camps, ping pong waves a bit, as we wait for the next thing to fight over, which I imagine will be our next Drake in 1:30. Unfortunately, kind of looking at future power spikes, Corki did get that 2-item spike. Jhin also at 2 items here. The Gwen also at 2 items. However, they are staring down a 3-item Malcolm Graves, who is very dangerous. And unfortunately, because the Snakes have opted into such a damage-heavy composition, there is very little cut on that damage Imp has. He's just going full in. Crawl is going crazy, and needs rescued right now.
Yeah, Silence comes down though and might be able to get rescued here. Finally, the Snakes might have found a fight. The Curtain Call comes out inside like Quick in a bit of danger. Finally going down to the last shot of the Curtain Call. Unfortunately, that collateral damage takes out one. Wraith trying to use the Needle Storm to back it out, but a flash over the wall from Crawl and from Papa Doge lands a double taunt. Triple kill right now. Quadra kill for Crawl, and it's just Banana Man left alive. Crawl gonna try and get the 1v1 off. Unfortunately, will go down in the process. So it ends up being a 4-for-4 when all is said and done, with a little bit of over-aggression onto the tower. Bear has to be careful, or it could turn into an ace into turn for the Snakes.
Yeah,
Still about a 2,000 gold lead, but evening it back up and getting a lot of shutdown gold onto your carries is a pretty big deal for the Snakes if they want to stop the throw.
Yeah, the Snakes were able to kind of put the pedal on, you know, stop the aggression from the Dragons for at least a little bit here, by stopping Malcolm Graves. Banana Man able to get that one. That's a pretty big shutdown, and on a great person to have that. Corki now at 3 items off of that with the rapid fire cannon in pocket. It's going to be very big for the Snakes here. Because on the other side, the Dragons, they do have more resistances on the Gauntlet. Oh, Banana Man is dead.
Yeah, once again, over-aggressing into that mid lane, gets caught by the arrow, by the solar flare, version side click, managed to pick up that one and walk themselves right back over to the dragon. And unless a steal comes through, it's most likely, it's most likely going to be double drags, 4 dragons as they move back up towards the Baron, towards that Otacon. We do have the Voracious Otacon, so it will be Resurrection here. Just getting some vision down, and yeah, with no contest on the drag, that sort of stops the Snakes' soul stacking game plan. They're not going to be able to land that soul point here. Verja just going to be able to pick this one up, run up top, though half HP and with a bit of gold in their pocket, has to be careful now, although it might be Rave caught out once again, tries to dash away, but it's not going to be enough. Caught, the Hollow Mist, not going to save him, as Crawl picks up another kill, 16, 2, and 3 on this Graves. Building the crit, has absolutely no fear, and has just been doing so much in this game, so much damage on this Graves to objectives, to enemy champions, that it feels really hard that maybe, you know, you shouldn't have taken this carry matchup, Ditto, as Crawl really showing that he wants the spot in playoffs.
Yeah, Crawl really fighting for it here. I will say, I think Wraith maybe should have not moved up. You know that the entirety of the Dragons are on the top side of the map. You saw them go into your jungle, so kind of just stepping up there to pick up a wave and dying for it seems a bit like an unforced error. You could have opted out of it, waited for the wave to go under turret, and then picked it up a little bit more safely. Obviously, that does kind of make it a little bit riskier in terms of dragons taking the Otacon, but you're also not really in a great spot to take it to begin with, or to fight it as the snakes. And if the dragons do go for the Otacon, then, well, you kind of just have to force your way through anyways. So Wraith getting caught there dying is certainly not the best, but there are a lot of things going on that are more pressing here for the snakes. I think that the biggest thing that I think they would benefit from is just having Wraith on the side, continuing to apply pressure. If they just have Wraith, you know, soak up Bear in a side lane and try and force a 4v4, maybe they have the damage, because damage on the dragons is really limited to just Verja and Crawl. However, Verja and Crawl do a lot of damage. Crawl in particular being a huge burst champion right now. 4 items on this Malcolm Graves, and Wraith is dead again.
Yep. And this has just sort of been the story, right? Wraith overstepping in a side lane, getting caught out, 8 deaths. You know, can 1v1 Bear at any point, but Bear doesn't even want a 1v1 at this point. You know, 1, 3, and 8, just magical assist spot over here, really using the stuns to their advantage, keeping pressure on the towers, but always being able to play for the team, and just been a bit difficult. Now Glare has to be careful as well. Side click, lands the Zenith Blade, forcing Glare to flash out, and gonna force the Mikhail's Crucible from rescue to get the cleanses. Curtain Call now opening up, gonna try and find a fight here. Side click missing the Zenith Blade, but it's gonna be the rest of the team trying to tank up. As the rest of the team moves back into the jungle, Dragons make it out with more towers, and just keep this lead up, providing 0 respite for Snakes to try and find any way back into this game.
Yeah, the really difficult part for the Snakes is that they have no lockdown. So it's really hard for them to find picks, the picks that they need to actually get their way back into the game. Instead, their composition is kind of forced into playing this more, we just have to fight you kind of style, where we just run at you and hope for the best. But when you're at such a gold deficit and your front line in the Gwen and Diana are as kind of crippled as they are, it becomes very difficult to actually play that run at you game plan. And it makes it very easy then for the Dragons to, you know, get a pick onto one of those frontliners, and that makes your backline even weaker because there's nothing they can really do to respond. I also think that the Snakes really just kind of need to... Wraith is dead again. Maybe, unless Banana Man's here.
Oh, maybe. We'll see. Bear might be getting caught out. Wraith with another one. Needs to land one more Needle Storm, but he doesn't have the rest of it in him. But Banana Man does have the damage to finish off the kill. And, you know, this is what we were talking about, these top laners just getting caught out. However, it does give the Dragons the opening they need to pick up that Voracious Otacon and move back towards the Baron. You know, meanwhile, Wraith maybe gets the consolation prize of a bot tier 1. But you can see how much damage gets done to this Baron when Cyclic tanks it up. Version and Crawl just do so much. Gonna finish up the Baron. Oh, that was so smart.
Yeah,
I was wondering
no CC.
if Crawl was gonna move towards this fight, but without any CC, Crawl just gonna move down to give Papa Doge a way out. Back. 4 members with Baron, 4 members with the Voracious Otacon, and it is looking difficult for Snakes right now.
Yeah, it is really rough for the Snakes here. They are fighting into a Baron, into a Voracious Otacon, and they've got another Drake up that they're just going to have to give over. There's no way they're fighting their way out of it. And at this point, I think it just may be a bit too much of a comp difference for the Snakes to actually overcome. Because, man, the tankiness of the Galio and the Leona are enough to dissuade the damage from Corki and Jin, because it really relies on the entirety of the Snakes throwing everything at their opponent and killing whoever they can. But especially now under the Voracious Otacon with the withdraws, it gets way more difficult to actually make that a reality. And the worst part is that they're just gonna have to trade their own lives if they want to protect their base. An attempt to fight 5v5. I think this is where the Snakes do actually kind of want to be, though, is with Dragons just walking at them and just hoping that, you know, they stop right-clicking or something, or they disconnect and you get the ability to free fire for a little bit, because otherwise it's very easy for the Dragons to just lock you down and kill you instantly. And they can just make the siege happen for as long as they want to. There is no aggression. There is no utility coming out from the snakes here. It is entirely on the captive audience from the Jin here with this one singular button that's very limited.
Yeah, and it's really difficult. You can already see Crawl picking up one, picking up two, looking for more as Aerodactyl is running back towards Wraith makes it a third, a triple kill now for the Graves. Gonna try and finish this off, going in. Banana Man gets hit by a taunt. Unfortunately, it's just gonna be the withdrawals. Versha, though, ooh, a snipe from Aerodactyl takes out another one of the carries. They might be able to try and defend here, but damage comes through. It is so much. Another kill picked up for Crawl. Make it a domination. Quadra so far as Aerodactyl tries to run down the rest of them. Crawl not afraid at all. However, maybe should be Aerodactyl, the one person with so much gold here. Almost a two-shot, though. It was Crawl with 2 autos, going to pick up another one. Delayed Penta, but it will be the ace. Sideclick, the only one left alive, might be able to get some of these towers. At least one.
Take it, Sideclick.
Unfortunately, Rescued and Glare are back up. One more auto will do it. We'll be able to pick up the inhibitor tower. Eventually, though, we'll go down to Rescued. But Dragons opening up the base, it's just so rough. It was 2 autos from Crawl right there. 2 autos.
Yeah, Crawl obliterates everyone on the side of the snakes. At the very least now, Wraith does have that Zanya's, which will help a little bit. We do see some armor items coming in to coming into the side of the snakes, but it's really like when I think about fighting champions like this Graves, who is literally full build right now, I think of an image that my friend who plays AD carries sent me about, you know, having to fight assassins and building tab eyes. Is you're trying to snip a stream of water coming out of the sink with a pair of scissors. You're not getting anything done with that armor, because you just get obliterated through it. There's enough penetration with the Lord Doms. That's the one, right? It's not the...
Well, the Collector also has lethality, but yeah, it's Lord Doms and Collector that are providing all that value there.
that armor shred, which just makes it very easy. Also, Banana Man is probably... we do have the Valkyrie, but I don't know if that'll be enough. Okay, it will be enough. Crawl doesn't want that smoke, just playing a little... opting into not giving away the GA there. We do have nothing really to fight over, so the Dragons are opting to just continue the pressure, and I think this is the right play to do. The snakes can only get stronger, so you might as well fight them. Papa Doge is going to die on a side lane, though, kind of randomly.
Yeah, and going down there is going to make the Dragons advance a lot harder. Crawl.
Wait.
Still alive. Cyclic goes down, though. That's their main form of engage. Version just does so much damage, though. And Rescue ends up burning to the red buff. Now the curtain call finally opens up to try and find Bear. Will manage to find it. It's just Crawl and Version left alive, and they have to be careful. If anyone can do it, Aerodactyl can. He's done it so many times before. The Snake's last hope. But Crawl and Verja are going to be able to walk themselves out there. Still on Soul. 44 seconds on the drag now. Has to be careful. Gonna try and catch Banana Man as he walks in. They know that he's in there, though. Has to be careful. But if Crawl manages to get on top, get a couple lucky crits, or not even lucky, but does have the 80, what is it? No, does have the 100% now. So it's critted on every auto. And you can see him just walking around, baiting Aerodactyl to try and walk in.
This is scary. Oh, this is horrifying. Glare's gonna be the one that dies.
Glare, not like this. The jump scare, 2 autos, 1 more will do it, and Aerodactyl has to be careful. Does a lot of damage, though, and if he's able to keep this range, Crawl could go down. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through, finds the Banana Man.
No.
Now going in, tries to find the taunt, but Aerodactyl managing to kite it out. Now caught up, though, potentially. Rescued and Wraith are on the way, gonna try and use the ultimate to get out to Crawl. It was a pretty short distance one, but it does get him out to safety in time. The Baron spawned. But Sideclick wants to go in, finds the route onto Rescued, onto the backline. Banana Man is doing a great job of single-handedly holding the rest of Dragons off. Crawl's still alive. It's Sideclick that goes down. Bear going down second, but they did manage to pick up Rescued after all of it was done, so they're not going to have any more sustain in this fight. Crawl just needs a couple autos to do really anything at this point, but it will be the drag started up. Lair, no smite. They have to be able to take this out, and Crawl has to dodge out on the curtain call. He wants to pick it up, but will be to try and melt this dragon, and they're going to be able to pick it up, putting themselves at some point, denying the soul from dragons as Banana Man picks up a kill. Wraith goes into Zanya's to try and dodge it out, but it's Crawl to go down. Urza's still alive. Aerodactyl trying his absolute best on this Jhin to hold on just a little bit longer, keep the snakes in this game just a little bit longer.
I have no words. I have no words. I really don't know what to say about this. Obviously, like, snakes, Aerodactyl is trying to perform a modern miracle right now, with the help of Soraka and the rest of the minions on the side of the snakes. You know, the 4 wards are attempting to collaborate with Jhin here to take down the dragons. Meanwhile, on the side of the dragons, they're just making kind of baffling map decisions. What kind of kick-started this entire turnaround from the snakes was Papa Doge attempting to side lane into Gwen for reasons not known by God or man, and ended up just dying into the Gwen because, as it turns out, Gwen is really good at destroying tanks.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of strange. Like, why not have Bear up there? It's not like, I don't think it was like based on a TP advantage, but I don't know. It just seems very odd that they did that. And once Papa Doge was down, that threat of the heroic entrance is gone. The snakes saw a window of opportunity. They were like, okay, we flip with the Moonfall. We drop the Zanyas. We send Wraith in, drop the Zanyas. And so much time was bought through those stasises, it allowed Banana Man and Aerodactyl to do so much damage. And from there, it just became a game of picking off the dragons off of just mispositioning and misplaying. And because of that, the snakes have bought their way kind of back into, oh, that was scary. The snakes have found their way back into a game that they really had no business being in, as Urza
goes
good
wide.
dodge.
Although
Good
I will
dodge.
say, Rescued has the Mikhail's Crucible, so it probably wouldn't have led to anything too crazy, but it would have given a small opening for Sidequick to try and find a Solar Flare. So it might have led to something, but with the Mikhail's Crucible up, it does make it a bit more difficult. Although it's crazy. Dragon's still technically with the gold lead, but Snakes with Baron, with Aerodactyl doing the work that he is on, and you can see Crawl going for the Bloodthirster instead of the GA, which I think is a much smarter option. When you're doing this much damage on the autos, if you're going into GA, your team's probably losing anyway with how much gold is on you. It really matters to keep survivability up throughout the fight rather than to try and get a one-time res that chances are your team's just losing the fight when you're not in it for those, small 3 seconds, 4 seconds, however long it takes for you to get resurrected. The fight's probably going to be over by that point, right? By the time you come back, you're going to be surrounded. It's going to be significantly harder. So, obviously, we're selling it because it's on cooldown, blah, blah, blah. I think BT is the right choice anyway.
Yeah, I would say that's not. Yeah, I would say I would agree with that. Having the BT is a smart choice here, and I think that really would be beneficial to. Oh no, Wraith, please, Wraith. Have we learned from our mistakes? We learned nothing. We never learn.
Are we learning? Are we learning?
Please learn. Please don't.
Okay.
Yes. We did it. We saved Wraith from certain death. I
like how we can. I can almost hear in real time through psychic power just Wraith being like, "Hey, can we get a ward on that bush?" And everyone's like, "Wraith, don't walk up. Don't walk up. Let us get the ward. Just chill. Just chill. Just chill." As they like desperately try and ward him off.
Yeah, it's just like I bet there's somebody in there. In that case, don't walk up. What are we? I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Nobody died. Nothing bad happened. We have 45 seconds on the Drake. This will be soul for either team. I thought this game was over 9 minutes ago, and it turns out we're getting a 40 plus minute banger-ranger here as our first Gauntlet match. We thought we weren't going to 3 a.m. tonight. No. We're going to make it happen once again. Banana Man's looking for something. Urza flashing nothing. Heroic entrance. Oh no. That is a lot burned out of the dragons there.
Yeah, and
Oh,
Dragons
jeez.
out any engagements here might be giving the opening for Snakes to try and pick up Soul. We'll have to see.
All right.
Oh
Oh,
no,
Crawl going in.
Crawl though, getting solo, goes
No.
down first. Without Crawl, the Dragons don't really have a way back in. And Jano Crystal Arrow comes through. Soul still able to be picked up. We'll see if they want it or if they want to just try and end the game here. They don't have Baron left up, but they do want to make sure they get this wave in. We'll see if they try and siege here, if they're going to just try and end the game. 45-second death timers are really long, but you know, there is still a decent amount of wave clear. There is still a decent amount, and they don't have a lot of minions here, a lot of waves left in. So it looks like what they're going to do, they're going to have Glare on that dragon. They're going to use the curtain call to try and secure this tower here, and the damage coming through. Banana Man just does so much to these objectives. Has to be careful. Goes forward, though, a little bit too deep. Papa Doge lands the Justice Punch, but without any cooldowns, the rest of Dragons can't follow up, getting so much damage. Now the Soul finally picked up. Oh, man.
Version, you gotta right click
he's
him
so,
when they're
he's
in
so
range.
scared.
I get
it
that
though.
we're scared
Still 10
here.
seconds on Crawl though. Are we throwing? Are we throwing Crawls up so soon? Banana Man and Wraith taking so much damage. Rescue desperately
Like a
trying to get
champion!
finally gets so many kills. Crawl needs to pick up one, needs to find something. Lair goes in, trying to find Papa Doge. You're gonna finally be able to pick it up. Crawl taking so much damage. One more auto's gonna be able to do it. Bear on the back line, but it's gonna be Glare trying to trade for Crawl, but he's not gonna be able to do it. Meanwhile, Bear in the 1v4. Bear has done such a good job of holding them off. Crawl still alive, but eventually Bear goes down. It is Crawl versus the world with no flash, with the GA finally back up, but he doesn't have BT. It's only a matter of time, and Snakes snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Dragons, they almost did it. They tried so hard. Crawl tried so hard, but in the end, it's gonna be Snakes picking up the game and knocking Dragons out of contention. We're living in Mr. Jake Almighty's world right now.
I don't know what to say. That was one of the most amazing turnarounds I've ever seen. I don't know, like, obviously, let's just get it out of the way. Aerodactyl performed a modern miracle. Aerodactyl has created a new future, you know, decided to fight fate right here of being the winless 8th place team and came out swinging here. But the Dragons, I think, in this game really did inflict a lot of damage to themselves.
Look, we did say stoppable force meets movable objects.
Yeah, this was definitely a stoppable force versus a movable object, and the Dragons were quite movable this game, as I don't know, it just feels like once the Dragons got control of the game, they started making so many baffling decisions that just gave opportunities for the Snakes to turn it back around. Like, you have 2 tanks and you have Jax. You fight the 4v4. You force Gwen to go fight Jax in a side lane, and Jax was starting to win those, and then you just win the 4v4, hopefully. But I don't know, we just gave up actually trying to play at like that style. We sent Galio in weird places. We kept getting caught in weird places. Before that Drake fight, Verja burning so many important cooldowns with the flash and the heroic entrance that was completely misfired. Crawl realizing the game was in dire straits, trying to perform a miracle, a hero play, just ended up, gotta commend Crawl in this game as well. Really did everything they could, but I don't know, it seemed very... this was the Dragons' game to lose, and by God, they lost it. Great stuff from Aerodactyl and the Snakes for holding it together despite the deficit and turning it back around, though. Didn't even have a gold lead at the end of the game. Very impressive.
I agree with everything you just said. I also want to point out, Banana Man definitely played this game quite well. Really taking advantage of a lot of roams from that Galio to really get a lot of prio in mid and help it out. But yeah, Aerodactyl definitely, I think, was the shining star of the show. And we also have Kyvan here. Any commentary kind of that you have for us?
And we got both 8 seeds winning their gauntlet matches. The Falcons
Oh,
won
no.
too.
Wait, did the
Psycho
Eagles, are
Ghost.
Eagles 8th? Did Eagles go out 8th?
Dude, I can't
Eagles
do it.
did go
I
out
can't do this
Eagles went out
again.
8th!
And
Oh my
let me tell you,
God.
let me tell you, I was in the Eagles server earlier, and I'm specifically seeing first we play the Falcons, then we will play the Shrooms. So I got news for you, Psycho Ghost. You in fact will not be playing the Shrooms tonight.
Oh
It's doomed.
no!
It's
So-
doomed.
It's time for Psycho Ghost to not return as a captain. Unfortunately,
We've got the Dragons being retired, and we've got Psycho Ghost being retired.
Dude,
yeah, but the snakes.
I
live
wanted to
on.
believe Psycho. I was hyping you up at the start. I wanted to believe. How do you do this
Well,
again?
it also feels terrible for the Eagles because their 80 carry like bitched out
Yeah, no,
today.
there's some situations there. I'm not gonna put it all on Psycho, but unfortunately, again, not again.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, do you happen to know which game we'll be going to next?
Yes, we will be going to whichever game you guys prefer. Snakes Ronin, or do we watch the Falcons try to make the miracle run to playoffs and play the Shrooms?
I want to see the Snakes miracle run. I want to see if they can do it after that last game. Look, as much as I want to believe, as much as I want to believe in Falcons, and getting against the Eagles, that's fine. Falcons Eagles was always going to be a match where who can throw the least. Granted, that was also kind of what this match was, but it's I think Ronin Snakes are going to be interesting.
Yeah, I believe Molly's just gonna clear the Falcons. We don't need to watch that. We can watch the Snakes go in again, and we will do so once we get back from a break setting the game up. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. See you then.
Let's drop it. 恋しくて星に願うのまた会えるよね
All right, baby, we're in draft. Let's do it. It only took a bajillion years, but we're finally here. Apparently, Kat could not see League Chat because Riot is a small indie company. This has been well documented in the past. We know this to be fact. Oh God, dude, this happened last week when I was actually producing for Legends. Like mid-series, my chat just decided to turn off, so I had to like communicate with people through like Discord DMs to try and set up production. It's awesome. We love Riot games over here. We love Riot games.
Yeah, you know, it's fine. One of these days we'll get the client will be fixed, and the spectator client will also be fixed, and everything will be functioning, and you know, everything will be good again instead of bad like it is now. But we are now in the draft here for our game between the Ronin and Snakes. Snakes coming off of their win against the Dragons, a turnaround upset victory. And the Ronin are going to be down a ban due to using an E-sub. So
wait, who's being E-subbed out? I did not get this memo.
Let me check sub players. I see who is subbing in. I don't know who is being subbed out though.
Oh my God.
Is it the 80 carry? No, Wait, is it actually Zeri Shelby that's being subbed out?
Oh no. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. That's all I can say. Hold on. Let me check the voice chat. Aquarichin, Cat's there. Just there. Pixel Wolf and Ashlord. Ashlord. Oh, that's Aberreal. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So it is. Oh no!
What a surprise! What a big surprise!
And after the Aerodactyl performance of all things.
Yeah, and speaking of, Aerodactyl is going to be getting that Jhin once again, really feeling themselves on the champion, deciding to just get that good end early. And I think the Snakes are likely going to be looking
pocket picks. We're banning all the pocket picks. We don't get any interesting. Snakes do not want us to have fun tonight.
We're going for comfort. The Snakes have realized that it's best of ones, so it's not fearless. So their best odds are to just play comfort, play what is working for them, and hope it's good enough. It ended up being good enough last game. Whether that was due to their own play or the play of the other team, is yet to be determined. But the Ronin are not going to be playing around this game. We do have the Nico, almost certainly going to be a mid lane Nico for Cat, and the Nautilus going to presumably Aqua Urchin, which now leaves jungle as a role for the Snakes to attempt to pinch, but I don't know if it'll really make a difference.
After pinching the pockets, I don't think there's much else you can pinch against Cherry. She has those unique picks, but after that, it's just the ocean. It's the absolute champion ocean. So Seraphine picked up as well. Could be flex, although I have a feeling it's probably going towards that bot side to set up with the Jhin. Although into another very aggressive lane, we'll have to see if they can turn it around again, if Aerodactyl is going to be able to move the mountains, make the miracles.
Yeah, can they make a miracle happen? Going into the second round of bans here, the Seraphine will round out the give the Snakes a pick that could go to either mid or support. Presumably it'll be going in support. The Jhin and Seraphine do work pretty well together, so it's not so bad. I think I would rather have like a Leona or something to respond into the Nautilus, or a Braum. But, we'll take what we can get. Ronin are gonna be banning away the Galio here. I guess taking that away from, that combo of Moonfall into Heroic Entrance away does make some amount of sense. I can understand not really wanting to ban away top laners from Snakes. Maybe they just kind of want to get rid of things that work well with the comp currently. Meanwhile, the Snakes are absolutely going to be targeting top lane by getting rid of a couple of picks that are very nasty. I wonder if that's going to lead to an R5 for their top. I don't think that's a good idea. I think you just wait to counter pick your top. The Smolder has been taken away from the Snakes.
No Smolder top lane. Why are we taking away the Smolder top lane? Like, why are we not, letting the Snakes walk into their own doom? After that raid gameplay, are we really scared of the Smolder? Are we that scared of it, guys? Come on.
They know something we don't, is
clearly
the only thing I can really assume. Is they know something about the Smudler top lane that we do not. They have information we are not furnished with.
Maybe it's because they're going all in on the scaling game plan with the Ornn. Although into Swain, Diana, and Seraphine already feels a bit interesting. I guess, potentially stacking magic resist, especially if that Swain ends up going top lane, could be a pick. This could also be the Ornn jungle. I would not put it past Cherry to play Ornn jungle. I have seen the Unsealed Spellbook Ornn jungle. I know it's a thing. Yeah. Do I think we're gonna see it? Probably not. Can I rule it out as a possibility? No. Oh, I forgot that we still had. Dude, it's been so many weeks of seeing people just refuse to play it for some reason that I'm shocked that we're finally seeing the Darius. Darius jungle has been on a tear recently in solo queue with all these movement speed items. So seeing Cherry as one of the adopters is not shocking at all. And we're gonna see the Warwick answered back. Although that could be a Warwick top lane, no? Into the Ornn, it would make sense.
Yeah, it could be a Warwick top. It could be a Diana mid, Swain top, Warwick jungle. Because I could see both Swain or Warwick into the Ornn. I think either are fine. It's just really kind of a matter of who do you think is going to be better fit to match the Darius? And as you said, this champion has been kind of tearing up solo queue and tearing up amateur since they changed some items, gave some more movement speed options, and now Darius is very dangerous. Already had some jungle tools baked into his kit, and now is able to finally attempt to capitalize on them. So looking at these two comps, we have some things that are standard, some things that are expected, and some things that are more interesting. Also, word is that it's actually Aqua Urchin ADC with their sub being the support here. And the
Okay.
Corky is the one ADC that Aqua Urchin plays. So
Okay, so it's starting to
that
make a little bit more
might
sense.
that might be what the theory there is. But yeah, very rambunctious team fight, bruisery, brawling composition from the Ronin, and a kind of a number of tanks as well on the side of the stakes. So I'm curious as to which team do you favor based on the champions going into this game.
All things considered, I still feel like it's a pretty good angle for Ronin. They don't have as much of that tank busting potential. They might struggle in the 5v5s, just the raw sustain and health pools. But Corky with this sort of team where the Ornn and the Nautilus are allowed to make so much space, right? You have the Nico to be able to land that engage. The Darius can be able to find, some pretty insane flanks and get some kind of insane burst damage off. I generally feel like Ronin are a bit stronger going into this game. I also, if we're going purely based on comps, I think Snakes, but also after seeing the battle of the throw that was last game, I don't know if they necessarily have the if they have the wherewithal to withstand the early game pressure that Ronin are going to be able to put out.
Yeah, I would agree, but we did see the Snakes pull off quite a heist last game. If the Ronin decide to not shoot themselves in the foot, I think that I would say that the Ronin do have a better composition for just making consistent plays and consistent fights happen. But if they decide to randomly die for no reason, then maybe the Snakes have a chance to pull it out. But we'll have to see. The Ronin have done that this season, so it's not out of the question that Ronin can find a way to hard win or hard lose, and same with the Snakes. So we'll have to wait to see what happens when we get in on the Rift. Going to a quick break for the delay, and we'll be back with the action of our deciding match for this who's gonna make it into playoffs and who will die in 7th seed. We'll see you then.
All right, everybody, and welcome back into game for our second match at Sapphire Gauntlet, Snakes versus the Ronin. We have Aqua Urchin on carry this game on bot lane, and Pixel Wolf filling in for the role. Unfortunately, Ronin was not able to make it tonight, which, that's the classic. And it looks like we have the double 5 stack with Ronin trying to invade the bot side and Snakes stacking towards the top side. And without being able to spot out Snakes, I'd imagine Ronin probably figure out that they're topside, knowing that they don't want to go for an invade themselves. But we'll have to see. And it does look like it will be Wraith. Once again, they have this lineup. I assume going top into the Ornn. I doubt they're going to send that Warwick mid again, so it looks like it will be another swap from the solo laners from Snakes for the second game in a row. And I'm not surprised. These two players are very flexible. Have done a lot to try and switch around between them in the situations that they need to. Wraith, obviously, we know played mid lane last season, has been playing a lot of top lane this season, so pretty standard, and looks like it's going to be standard starts for both teams. Both starting on the blue side, pathing over to red to try and get some early ganks off, I'd imagine.
Yeah, similar to what the Diana last game is wanting to do is sort of just play off of a good lockdown from. Okay. All right. Yeah. An early trade there. Yeah. Early trade there. Actually, good damage from both sides. Rescued with a good double tap, double cast route. Was able to lock him down and keep Aerodactyl from taking more punishment than maybe planned, but it is going to mean that the level 2 will go over to Ronin. That's not great for the Snakes, this bot lane here. They're going to be forced back here early, and that's going to be rough going, at least for the moment. But back to Diana. Similar to last game, the Diana is going to have to play around the lockdown tools that are in the mid lane with the Never Move and whatever Aerodactyl and Rescued have in store. Wraith does have the Fear, but I think this Warwick is just kind of be... Warwick and Arboreal are just going to be left on their lonesome here to kind of just trade blow for blow up on the top side. Wraith going to be actually on that lethal tempo on the Warwick here. So while Arboreal is going to be trading with those grass procs, Wraith is going to be looking to try and go hard when we unpause, of course, as if things couldn't get worse. In terms of technical. Okay, all right, we're fine. We're living.
Okay, we're chilling.
We're living. Yeah. So we'll have to see what our two junglers can make happen here. Cat very proficient on the Nico. Very excited to see how this plays out here. The Swain can do a lot of good things. Ooh, Aerodactyl had to burn both sums, and Rescued ended up burning a secondary sum as well. Aqua Urchin and Pixel Wolf burned both their offensive sums, so yeah, a lot of sums dropping in the bot side. Aerodactyl's very, very open to being jumped on right now.
Yeah, has to be pretty careful right now. To see what ends up going down. I'd imagine Happier Cat is going to try and flash. Clear goes in, and yeah, it's just going to be flash for flash in the mid lane. Unfortunately, Happier was just a bit too far up. Now, though, died in the bot side, and Cherry picks up kill there. Pixel Wolf, unfortunately, going to die to the towers. Rescued picking that one up. So Snakes are actually up in early kills early on. Blair picking up first blood in the mid lane. Cherry answering right back with a yank at the bot side, and getting the kill on a Rescued instead of Aerodactyl is, I think, pretty beneficial, and I think Ronin are still in a fairly decent spot.
Yeah, the Ronin definitely are in a fine spot. Getting Sherry that early kill is going to really allow this Darius to start snowballing as a stat check champion that Darius is. I'm just going to keep pronouncing it back and forth incorrectly for the entire game. As Wraith as the Darius kind of scale goes back and forth here in terms of he wants items. He wants to kill you early. He likes to snowball and hit you with big stats. getting kills allows him to do that quicker and gooder. So we'll see if Sherry can make use of that kill, whereas Banana Man is kind of going for a little bit of a... The trades in the mid lane here are very aggressive on both sides, and that is going to open up some windows of opportunity. Banana Man, actually neither of them have flash, so Glare and Sherry can definitely look to make an aggressive play onto the mid lane if they so please. Otherwise, it's kind of slowing down right here as the first objectives are coming up.
Yep, and currently it just looks like it might be a trade. We'll have to see. You can see Glare sort of towards that top side, towards those grubs. Now an engage though on the bot side. Aqua Urchin going to be able to pick up Aerodactyl. Rescued, rooted up as well, forced to flash. The Ignite goes down. Aqua Urchin, one more auto might do it. Has to be careful of those Qs coming out from Rescued, but not going to be able to pick up the kill. 2 for 2 currently on the map. And it looks like Cherry's going to run back towards that top side to potentially contest the Void Grubs, with Pixel Wolf on the rotation as well. Claire might have to back off, should be able to pick up one, but now the rotation's coming through. Happier Cat and Cherry both here early, and it looks like the Smite's just going to pick up one. Arborill goes down though. Wraith with a solo kill on the top side. Both top laners have their flashes down. However, Pixel Wolf was first on the rotation. Cherry doesn't have the Smite anymore. Has to be careful when trying to burn down these Void Grubs. Rescued now on the rotation. Looks like they want to keep going for it, and it does look like the Snakes are going to end up giving away these Grubs.
Yeah. Although Wraith did burn Flash and ulti to kill Arborill there, does still have that secondary summoner, which I believe is the Exhaust Barrier? Is that the barrier? Is that what that is? Yes. Okay.
Yes, it is the barrier.
The small
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure
icons.
Warwick runs barrier.
Yeah, the small icons are just unfamiliar to me. Still, you know, it's fine. Look, I'm old. You have to accept that. I just assume it's the old icons. So yeah, Wraith did still have the barrier, but 3v2 just too risky to flip, especially because Glare still not on level 6. So they do just give over the 3 Grubbins, but picking up the 3 kills there actually gives a feat of warfare over to the side of the Snakes, which is very interesting. If they can kind of continue to trade evenly on objectives and Wraith can continue to push in and punish Arborill and topside, we could see a potential for the Snakes to pick up the feats once again. They were able to last game kind of unexpectedly off of just claiming neutral objectives. So we'll see if the Snakes can do that this game. It's going to be definitely more difficult to make that happen, as Banana Man and Happier Cat just enjoying attacking each other. However, with those spell trades, Swain does win out in the end because of his health stacking passive. He lands his abilities on you, and he gets a little bit of health as a bonus surprise. So any little trades do matter. Rescue's getting caught.
Ooh, has to be careful. Rescued caught out, but does have the shields, does have the heal if they needed it. Not gonna have to use any of them. Pixel Wolf is gonna have to use the Ignite there. Meanwhile, on the top side, it looks like Arborill got the solo kill onto Wraith, which should not be happening, especially with that Warwick and its early power, and with the barrier up, no less. I imagine a good call of the Forge God, a good chaining of the knockups into a knockup from the E, some W, the Brittle procs probably helping a lot, and of course, the Bramble Vest early on gonna cut that healing significantly.
Yeah, the Ornn bow, Ornn, you do have to respect his ability to absolutely one-shot you if he's able to hit multiple brittle procs off of his W into his ulti, into the knockup of the pillar with the Q pillar. He can do a lot of damage out of nowhere that you just have to respect. And it is entirely Rescued getting hit by the big one there. Hurt a little bit, but will just recall here or attempt to, but the pressure from Aqua Urchin and Pixel Wolf are keeping Rescued pinned down, which is going to be very troublesome because although Corky's rockets are not what they once were, they are still quite powerful, and TP is going to bail bot lane out and may actually punish here.
Yep. Currently, Pixel Wolf caught out, Aerodactyl not going to be able to follow up just yet. Does have the curtain call if needed, but is low on mana. Flash forward from Cherry to try and get some kills. Needs a little bit more damage on the Banana, and not going to be able to land the Noxian Guillotine in time, though. And I don't think Aerodactyl has enough mana for the curtain call, unfortunately. Going to stick around a little bit longer to see if they can maybe buy a bit of time, but has to be careful. Pixel Wolf at low HP also has to be careful. And both teams going to be respectful here. Gonna chill, although Aerodactyl going forward, you know, can see putting pressure, knows that Pixel Wolf is in that bush, and it looks like it's gonna be Snakes first to move onto that dragon, with Wraith down here as well, sending Banana Man up towards the top side to defend, but Abriel should be able to get a couple plates off that. You know, even if Snakes do pick up that first dragon, trade those objectives, it is still beneficial to have your Ornn taking all these plates.
Yeah, that's more money into the Ornn. It makes it a lot easier for him to do his job on the top side, and also getting that extra EXP will give him the ability to get his Ornn items on faster, and sort of be able to counteract Wraith's early game power. But it looks like they're gonna just send the Warwick mid for the time being, as Banana Man is fighting up in top lane and may actually die.
We'll have to see. Abriel, with no Call of the Forge God left, a little bit more damage, but it's not quite going to be enough. Wraith could absolutely try and... Oh. Wraith could try and maybe go, but yeah. Abriel not going to push their luck. Knows the Glare is off the map. Knows that Wraith could come and clean it up just a little bit. Oop. Maybe going to greed for the plate, though. Thinking that they have the backup from Cherry. Glare does have the flash if needed, but so does Abriel, so doesn't want to risk it. And it looks like it's just going to be a quick 6 scrub for the Ronin.
Yeah, and that is going to be very huge here, especially if Abriel continues to just make things happen on top side, especially if Wraith decides to continue roaming, or if the Ornn is left alone. It can just apply a bunch of pressure on the side with the little Void Mites. The same with the Corki, who does have the winning matchup in the 1v1 against Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl, you know, currently just powering up. The Corki does have that Essence Reaver right now, opting into very early power in this AD carry role, which is what you want to see if you are playing the Corki in the AD carry role rather than a mid lane. You gotta be stronger, faster, especially. It just kind of works better with where the team is spiking. You can wait to get those more powerful item spikes once you get the Ornn online. I don't know, makes sense to me, at least. As Banana Man, gonna not interrupt the recall. Vision of Empire, the wrong Nico, but will still claim HP off of that. So yeah, even the Nico clones, you hit them with spells, you also get birds back. So Banana Man is slowly scaling up to be that late game raid boss that the Ronin are going to have to contend with. There is a bit of percent health damage that will allow them to fight that. Wraith looking to kind of just auto their way into fighting Abriel, but man, it's not as one-sided as you would hope, especially now that the Ornn has picked up some of those powerful components. We do have the Blade of the Ruined King, but we do have a fight here now.
Yep. Engage coming through. Have your cat with a nice route. Glare might be the first to get caught out, though. Cherry charmed up before they can get the Noxian Guillotine off. And it's going to be the downtown curtain call to help out the rest of the fight. Abriel forced to back off. Currently, it is a 2-for-1. Banana Man wants to keep going forward, though. Unfortunately, Happier Cat and Abriel could both be able to make it out alive. Aqua Urchin late on the rotation, and Cherry not able to get that Noxian Guillotine off gives Snakes a really good fight, and is going to start to try and even up that gold lead, which right now, yeah, no towers are down. Forgot who picked up the Feat of Warfare, but all I know right now is that Ronin are 1 objective away from the Feat of Monster Slaying. Snakes are 2, and it really
Snakes,
is...
No, Snakes picked up the first one.
Okay.
They got 3 kills earlier.
Got it. So they're probably not going to be able to get Monster Slaying out from under Ronin, but they might still be able to get tower, although it is debatable as Abriel has that top lane tower pretty low. Pixel Wolf now missing the Dredge line, going to make it hard to find anything in this bot side, and it has just been really difficult for Ronin to keep up the pressure right now, as Snakes have been doing a pretty good job of trying to come back from this gold lead, and in addition, being up a dragon, only being out down, less than 500 gold is a pretty good spot to be in.
Yeah, it's an alright spot for sure. kind of looking around the map here. Cat, oh, that's tragic. Did not interrupt the Warwick recall. Just threw a Q into the bush. Did not land. It is what it is. Banana Man holding on to the mid lane here. Abriel kind of just these mid and top lane is very fluid this game. You know, we're just sending whoever wherever. Although I think this was kind of more of a strategic move to keep the Warwick from pressuring Ornn into the tower. But now Nico has recalled. So, oh, no, that was just Nico invisible. Banana Man's gonna get hooked up, though. Could see, okay, gonna pop the
They're trying to
ulti.
turn it. Rescue,
Yeah,
using the
fast.
using the Shirelias as well. They're just gonna land the kill here. Pixel Wolf has to be careful. One more shot's gonna do it, but Blair's gonna be the one that picks up the kill. Slows now coming down onto Abriel, who's just been eating so much thanks to this rally as Cherry pulls Banana Man back in. They do have the Call of the Forge God. They're gonna try and land the knockups here. Unfortunately, the Rally is doing so much work here. Cherry rooted up as well. Rescued going in. Engage coming through. The shutdown for Aerodactyl. Did Jake say the world that no one else could?
Yeah, Jake saw the future. Jake saw that the snakes were actually in the real timeline. Please ignore how many curtain call bullets that Aerodactyl has missed this game. Looking like
he used them all last game. He has to recalibrate the weapon.
Yeah, it's just Stone Edge. You know, Aerodactyl is trying to fire those Stone Edges, and as we know, Stone Edge never hits. So,
well, with the slows, wouldn't it be more like Rock Slide?
I guess that is true. I guess it would be.
Although Rock Slide hits 2 people, right? So that's not.
Rock Slide hits 2, but it also does have a miss chance. So you know, in either case, a lot of these bullets have been just fired into the great blue yonder, but it does not matter. Oh, Rock Tomb is the slowing one, but nobody's ever clicking Rock Tomb. Ever. As Aerodactyl might be clicking Aqua Urchin here with that 4th shot.
Oh, doesn't even need it. Gonna use the Deadly Flourish, even though it leaves them open. Just wants to style. Just wants the pure Jin flare right there. Saving the 4th bullet for later.
Yeah.
Will be Vita Monster Slaying picked up though for the Ronin. And I believe first hour is still up, so neither team claiming feeds just yet. Still, oh wait, no, okay, it was. Okay, I was a little slow on that one.
Yeah, first tower was taken, so now it is down to the objectives here.
No, they just picked up the heralds that have feats now. I can see the little beauty upgrades.
Gotcha.
The thing though to note is that Snakes have a bit of a gold lead and 2 dragons up already. So that's going to make them really strong heading into this 3rd dragon fight, into this mid game, especially with how much gold is spread out on your carries and your support. That's super helpful. Meanwhile, a lot of the gold here is it's spread out as well, but there's no real lead except for that mid lane, right? You have a minor lead in mid lane on the Nico, right? Happy Cat has done a really good job. But the Swain doesn't really need to be hard carrying, right? Going for the Rallies, going for the Seraph's Embrace, going for this sort of drain tank build, and providing extra damage rather than anything else. Also, something to note, the Rallies on the
Aerodactyl is so bad.
Aerodactyl, yeah. I'll pause what I'm saying as Aerodactyl gets eaten up and Aqua Urchin picks up a shutdown. That is going to be a massive swing and is going to help out significantly. What I was saying before was that Banana Man building Rallies means that that's going to let Rescued always land those roots on the E without having to build Rallies herself. So very helpful, allows the Seraphine to build much more utility-based items. But yeah, Aqua Urchin picking up that shutdown there in the bot lane is a really big deal, as that gives Ronin a lot more damage, and really the damage that they need. They've been really struggling to actually finish off anyone in these fights with just how much survivability there is.
Yeah, and it looks like the Swain's going to be opting into a tankier build here with the Kindle Gem. Could indicate a Fimbulwinter, I believe. I don't know if Seraph... I don't think Seraph's builds out a Kindle Gem.
No, it does not. So
yeah, this is just going to be, like, raid boss tank Swain.
Okay, so we'll just be straight up... With the Dark Seal, too, I like that.
Yeah,
so that's where you're getting your damage from.
Yeah, big slows setting up for the Seraphine, the Jin, and the Diana. I guess if you don't have a lot of hard CC, even though there is a bit of hard CC on the side of the Snakes, you just cripple them with a bunch of slows, and Aerodactyl is dead again.
Oh boy. You know, maybe it was maybe last game was a bit too much, you know, the carry just carried a little bit too hard. However, the bright side is that Glare doing quite well, Banana Man doing well, rescued as well, so maybe you don't need to be the only carry this game, but maybe, you know, be a little bit more careful where you're walking up, especially when you can get picked off this easily. Aquarichin with the Essence Reaver and the Infinity Edge picked up now is very, very strong. Wraith potentially caught out. Nope, gonna use the ult out to safety. And the extra TP there from Banana Man just in case they need to back it up. But that does leave the Otacon wide open. If Sherry wants to make a beeline down bot, we'll have to see. It does look like we're just going to keep it neutral and take out that top lane tower. Ooh, lots of slows coming through. Now, Abigail's out to safety.
Yeah, theoretically. Cherry is up here, though, so it's going to be pretty difficult, I think, at this point, with Cherry waiting in the wings to actually claim this turret. Wraith is going to just complete the recall here, and now it actually is going to be Banana Man in trouble.
Yeah, so much slows, though. Eventually, Cherry going to be able to get the pull back in. Slow still coming out, doing a lot. The Noxian Guillotine is up, the root pulls him back in. Cherry finally going to use it, maybe the first time in this game after being canceled so much, and going to be able to land the shutdown onto Banana Man, picking up a massive heap of gold there. That's going to be super beneficial for the Darius to be able to keep trying to push this lead. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Pixel Wolf and Aquarichin just been sieging this tower, getting it so low in preparation for this third drag. This is Snakes on sole point if they get this drag, so Ronin are really going to want to contest this with the big spikes that they just got.
Yeah, Drake going to be up very soon here. Swain going... now having completed the Fimble Winter, waiting to just respawn, and that'll be upgrading itself. However, we do have the Rift Herald summoned here, and it's gonna force the Snakes to split their attention, which I think will just give up the Drake here. Curtain Call's opening up, but I don't know what's gonna do. The fight's gonna start. Banana Man is so far back, though, I don't think there's an angle here, and yeah, that's just going to be the Drake having to be given up. Pixel Wolf is looking for something, though. Glares over the wall?
I like how you can see Riv trying to get the Q, and you can see, like, the little indicator. Now it has to be careful, though. Abigail not going to be able to land the Call of the Forge God, but a huge engagement. Happier Cat into the entire backline. Two of the Snakes have already fallen. Aerodactyl, the next one. And Banana Man desperately trying, but with no ultimate, with no slows to speak of. It's going to be a double kill for Cherry, and a quadra picked up for the Ronin, with no one falling in exchange. They get the dragon, they're moving their eyes towards the Otacon, and this is what you expected to see.
Yeah, that was a huge Nico ulti coming out from Happier Cat, just absolutely catching the Snakes off guard. I'm unsure as to what the call there was with the Snakes. They ended up losing the Drake, and it seemed very strange that Glare decided to hop the wall and attempt to make a fight happen. I think, like, obviously the Snakes, their composition really benefits from just, like, running at the enemy with the Swain in front, slowing them down, allowing Wraith and Glare and Aerodactyl to fire on from the back. But it's definitely not working as intended, and I think part of that is just because the Ronin have a lot of damage that can, if you just, like, ignore Swain, because he's not a huge damage threat, like, obviously he hurts, but he really is kind of missing that next damage item that will really round out his build. Once hopefully we see a burn item come in on the Swain, I think that would be very advisable here, or just some kind of AP that will allow Banana Man to be more of a threat than just like a slow field, which is functionally what he is right now. Because otherwise, Corki has so much damage, Nico has so much damage, that it's very easy for them to just cut through Wraith and Glare and open up that backline, where Aerodactyl is not performing on the level we saw last game, having a lot more trouble actually, you know, getting the position to get that big damage in these fights, and is getting that IE third, which is going to set the Jin's damage way behind, relatively speaking, compared to Aqua Urchin, who went for that IE second and is now working on that rapid fire cannon, which is going to be completed right now, actually. So this Corki is on 3 items. Meanwhile, the Jin does not have that IE, and that is a huge amount of damage that is just not on the board yet. So if I'm the Snakes here, obviously, I think at this point we need to kind of just like take our foot off the gas. The fights are not going to work out if we keep attempting to take them. I know that's the point of our composition, but we can't do it. So we have to wait until Jin gets at least like a BF sword or something, because right now Static Shiv Lord Doms is hardly the huge damage dealing power threat that you want to have in your AD carry role, and the Swain is lacking in damage despite doing fairly well for themselves this game. That it's just very complicated for the Snakes to play out. The
you know,
it's not tag there. Hello?
me?
Yep. Hello? Oh, okay. Well,
Okay.
you're back.
That was the
You're back. We're
thunderstorm we were finally kicking in, but yeah, I'm finally back. Discord not lagging as much anymore. Wraith going for the dive under tower, but forced to use the ult and the flash, and not even being able to get the kill or the tower. Now getting collapsed upon. And it's just a matter of time before the rest of the Ronin find the wolf. Wraith trying to get out, gets the fear, unfortunately pulled back in. Cherry picks up the kill, and now the TP from Banana Man, just leading to near certain doom. Going to be forced to use the flash. Manages to make it out, backed up by the curtain call, but does still have to be careful. Drag up in 12 seconds, and without your top laner being forced to use the TP and the ultimate from the Swain and no curtain call, means the Snakes are just going to be forced to give this up without being able to contest it at all. And, you know, what was looking good, what was looking like the real world, has now been brought back to reality with Ronin firmly in control of this game.
Yeah,
you don't do that anymore. It's just Infinity Edge masterworked. With mechanic as well, Trinity Force. It's really difficult for Snakes to find value, right? It's just the snowballing has taken place, and now the items are upgraded, and the gold difference just in terms of raw stats, even if you just look at the gold itself, you're not even accounting for these Ornn Masterwork upgrades that are providing about 1,000 gold worth of value. 4 ways. This is significantly more than the 6,000 it looks like. This is much closer to an almost 10,000 gold lead when you consider all the value that they're getting.
Yeah, it is definitely unfortunate for the side of the Snakes, who were looking so good for a little while there. Were able to find good fights, but now, unfortunately, their comp is just starting to fall behind a little too fast. And these damage dealers, like the Darius here, are far too powerful to be left unchecked. As Happier Cat, the Wraith fell for the clone, and Infinite Duress to clone, and it was very unfortunate. As yeah, it's gonna be now a 4v5, but okay, well
manages to pick up the shutdown. Eventually, though, when you get hit with that Call of the Forge God and the entire team is there, you will end up being taken out. Nice little shutdown, though. Gonna be really beneficial. Gonna give Aerodactyl the gold that he needs to get closer to that Infinity Edge, which is absolutely desperation mode, right? That's exactly what the Snakes need. They need this Infinity Edge online for the Jin. They need the damage coming out, because right now, you know, they went for more bruisery builds, more sustained damage, and they don't have that same level of damage. Big ult there from Glare, unfortunately, like we were saying. With the bruiser builds, you just don't have as much burst. Happier Cat goes in, but it's just going to be a zoning ult as Rescued and Banana Man are locked out of the fight. Now, a lot of damage coming through. Cherry going to try and land a lot of the healing now. Happier Cat doing so much as well. And Banana Man, without any real items building into this sort of big tanky build, you just don't have the damage to sustain the rest of these fights when your carries are already dead.
Yeah, I really am not I think in the situation you're in, I understand why you want the tank items, because the theory is that you live forever and then enable with using the slows and your ulti, you just enable your other champions who need sort of that soft lockdown to actually function, like the Warwick or the Diana. I get the theory, but your Warwick and Diana are not in a position to really take over the game. So I think, considering that Banana Man had the opportunity to start speccing into a more offensive build, I feel like if you have Fimbulwinter, you're good. Like, I don't know if you need more resistances. Like, either you go Fimbulwinter into more damage, or you go Archangels into the Spirit Visage. I don't think having both those tank items is going to really help, because all it means is that the Swain it takes forever to kill, but he also just doesn't do anything. So he's functionally, again, just like an AoE slow you have to play around, as Wraith will almost die to the Corky Rockets, but does not quite die yet, as the jungle is being pillaged, the lanes are being battered and bruised, and there's really not much left for the Snakes to do to fight this, as a reset from Wraith is going to open up the Ronin to just go for this Baron. They have the ability to clear out vision, clear out any plants, set up defensive vision, and just reset here and then start this objective. But it looks like they're going to wait to do that, and instead just full reset. And it looks like instead of doing what I was thinking they were going to do, they're going to go ahead and move towards that third Ocean Drake, which will be very difficult to fight through.
Yeah, and once you set up these lines, you have just so many objectives, and now Soul Point coming up for both teams in 40 seconds. And these games have just been going on for a while, right? No team has really been able to definitively just dominate 100% without being able to, to have any picks taken out. But it is still looking very rough for Snakes. The longer this game goes on, the worse it looks. Even if you have that build going on, the Seraphine Scales, and you have this much damage, there's just too many carries for Ronin and not enough for Snakes. They just don't do enough damage. They're struggling way too much to be able to actually finish off anyone in these fights, especially Abriel, who's almost on the full 4-item Ornn right now, looking to engage here. Banana Man has to be careful. Wraith on the side of the fight in the 1v1 against Cherry. Regiline landed, and now the Call of the Forge got finally coming out. Lands big onto the 3. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Aqua Urchin was able to pick up Aerodactyl after a huge engage now from Happier Cat goes in. Glare not even able to land the assassination on the back lines. Aqua Urchin picks up another, and it is just Banana Man left alive on the Siege Tank build, unfortunately, with nothing to back you up, with no trebuchets, with no actual siege machinery. It's just a matter of time before the tank falls. And Ronin pick up a clean ace and begin to march it down mid, and with these set timers, it might be possible. 25 seconds, not 100%, but Abriel's tanking that tower. They want the game over here and now.
They also have those 6 grubs, so it's going to be very easy for them to start cutting through these turrets, and I think it will end up just being they're going for the lethal push. 8 seconds on Aerodactyl and Rescued, but it's not going to be enough. The Ronin want to get out of this game, and they will be closing it out, and the Snakes, they gave us hope, but unfortunately for them, their first win of the season came far too late, and the Snakes were not able to convert into a playoffs position, as the Ronin will claim the last playoff spot in
but they got
Sapphire.
One. And that's what matters, is that the Snakes' only win were the thing that they used to knock Dragons out of playoffs.
Yeah. It definitely it is what it is. It is what it is. The Snakes put up a good effort, a good fight in that game 1. I don't think after that performance, the Ronin have a habit of throwing games from winning positions or just playing in bizarre ways, but I feel like the Snakes can walk away happy that they did not end 8th at the end of the split. They did only end 7th, which is better than I think anyone expected, all things considered. Meanwhile, on the other side, I don't know if you saw the Ruby result. was I don't know if it's official yet. I think it just got spoilered. So I'm unsure. I think
What are we looking at? What are we looking at?
I believe the Shrooms ended up winning.
Okay,
Because,
so no miracle runs tonight. It looks like for anyone.
yeah, the 8 seeds, they gave it their best shot. They sent Falcons sent Psycho Ghost to captaincy retirement, and otherwise it's just we're gonna be seeing our 5th and 6th seeds battle it out in our next gauntlet matches to determine who gets that 5th seed spot and avoids having to face off against their 3rd seed opponents in the first round of playoffs. Which I suppose we'll have to decide which game we're gonna go watch after we go to break. So we'll see you then.
Alrighty, and welcome back into draft for game 2. Or sorry, I say game 2 like this is a series. No, but it is Ronin's game 2 up against the Honeycombs for the top seed. The big thing to note is that regardless of who wins this, it will be the number 1 seed choosing which quarterfinals winner. So this is just going to determine seeding for quarterfinals, right? And it's a little interesting because the loser of this, I believe, has to play Raiders in the upper bracket. Meanwhile, the lower bracket will be versus the Typhoons. So definitely want to win this one. Raiders are absolutely going to be a harder match than the Typhoons if the main season is anything to go by.
Yeah, Typhoons, I feel like we're very close in power to both the Honeycombs and the Ronin, whereas the Raiders were very clearly, at least in that second level, not quite, towards the end of the season, definitely ended up losing a ton of games, ended up in 3rd seed under the Skeletons, who had a pretty notoriously bad couple of weeks, but otherwise, I think there's a very clear difference in power level between the Raiders and the Typhoons, and just those two teams. So obviously you do not want to have to step up against the Raiders if you can avoid it. So both of these teams, it will benefit them to go in and try and win this one out. While we are not watching the Ruby match, it is the astronauts and shrooms battling to avoid the Imperials, who are the 3rd seed, and get the matchup against the Spartans. But I feel like both of those teams are a lot closer, so Ruby seeding may not matter as much for these teams to survive, as we do have our first pick here. Bans have flown through. The Kale targeting the Honeycombs there with a pick that they've found success on, taking that off the board. And the Viego will be the first lock-in here for Rigamortis, as we have, oh boy, it's Brian and Zeri gonna get picked up as well.
Interesting. As far as I know, Zeri Shelley is not back.
No.
So this will be the pickup for Awkward. And
Wait. Maybe?
Wait, hold on. Oh, I'm checking voice. Hold on. He is back! Remy is back!
Yeah, Zeri Shelby is here, folks.
On the signature champion, the Briar, potentially. For Cherry, I know, if we're talking about the weird jungle picks, this is definitely one of them. So the Kaisa answering back. So definitely 2 of these comps much more aggressive, much more fight-oriented than last game. The big Snakes delay until 37 bajillion minutes, right? Wait 10 hours, maybe 4 days from now we scale. This team wants to be much more aggressive. Honeycombs here to win.
Yeah, Honeycombs really going to be looking to try and make that happen. And they will pick up the Syndra to give them a little bit more of that late game insurance there. A champion that does scale really well into the mid to late game, picking up a ton of power and really good at sort of blasting away the wall here. That is locked in.
Okay.
That is,
look,
Catalina.
No matter who wins here, both of these players go to playoffs. That being said, the difference between going to Raiders and going to Typhoons is pretty massive. So I'd like to imagine that this is raw confidence here.
Yeah. Very interesting. Maybe we thought Fearless was still enabled. We're in game 3 of Fearless. Can't play our regular mid lane picks. We have to play Katarina. But I'm gonna trust Cat on Cat here to hopefully succeed and show us what is going on this game. But we'll have to see what ends up happening, as we do have the bans from the Honeycombs taking away the Lulu, a good pair for the Zeri. Still some decent options, as we do have Aqua Urchin picking up that Elise support that they led I believe in one of our first matches we streamed for the split, it was Aqua Urchin on that Elise support in exhibitions. So we're getting a book ending here on the regular season, as Aqua Urchin's bringing that back for this match.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if it
Theoretically,
is
of
the
course.
actual story beginning, because these champions are very feast or famine, right? If Ronin are not feasting, they are getting run over immediately. These champions, not things that, you know, can really scale from behind, are going to have a really, really hard time dealing. And this might be the key, right? Zeri Shelby, you know, is very good on the Zeri, you know, the main champion, the namesake champion. They might just want to lead that down there, you know, maybe get a little bit of early aggression, but mostly just being farming up and picking this super, super aggressive top side to try and snowball early on. I would expect that this means that we're going to see a lot of roams from Aqua Urchin, and the Alistair, I think, a pretty good response to everything that we've seen so far.
Yeah, the Alistar is a great response, a good defensive pick that has a lot of disruption for these champions like the Brian or the Katarina, to just prevent them from doing all the things they want to do on top of obliterating your carries. As we do have the
It's Briar top. Wait,
Misfortune.
hold on.
Is it
Briar top Elise jungle Misfortune support?
It
The only other way I can imagine this is the
what if
Misfortune
this
goes
is
mid.
cat on Misfortune, and this is like Katarina top lane for some reason.
Briar jungle Lisa. Yeah, that could be a thing. I mean, I don't. I'm confused.
The Ronin have brought a full dish here. They got the chop basket, they opened it up, and they've cooked us something. I am going to hope that they have a plan. I'm gonna believe. I think that this is a premium draft. I think that we've picked our favorite champions. Powerful girls get it done kind of composition. Whereas the Honeycombs thought that we were playing League of Legends and actually picked like a team comp that you would see played normally. So, what's the is this like a, what do you think? Break it down for me. Do you think that is this a draft terrorism incident?
I think it might be. I don't think we were gonna get through Gauntlet without her. You know, there were only 2 matches, but I still think expecting to leave those 2 without any form of draft terrorism was I don't think it was gonna happen. I think we were very very hopeful to see it, and it will not come to fruition. We'll see though. There's a chance this could work if Ronin play their minds out and Honeycombs mess up a bit, sure. Mm-hmm. But I see a world. I want to believe. That's the real point.
Yeah. I don't know. I suppose this will just be down to. Fortunately, it looks like the Ronin are trying to get us out in 30 minutes one way or another. And I really do respect that. So we'll see if the Ronin have what it takes to walk this comp across the finish line and get that 5th seed, or if they will be sprinting it down to get that matchup against the Raiders. We will see you after the break for the spectator delay in just a moment.
Alrighty, and welcome into game for our final gauntlet match of the night. Ronan versus the Honeycombs. We had a bit of a delay from all things considered, and
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
We're just trying to get
I don't
the
know.
experience.
I don't know whether I should say I went after my own heart or what the hell are we doing? Because I have used the Zeri Jungle before. It's not very good, but I've done it.
Oh no.
Oh boy. Oh, it is already a situation. Oh.
Well,
Oh, no.
Everybody take a look at rule 6.1.5 about match fixing. Throwing is not permitted. This is a very strategic draft.
So real talk. Can you even call this throwing if it's Ronan? I feel like any other team you could. Is this really throwing if it's Ronan?
I do not think so. I feel like they're the only team that could get away with Zeri jungle and have like the peanut gallery be like, yeah, this is normal. This is
like an actual Rona draft, and it's like, I understand where it's coming from. Now, is it good? Debatable.
No, it's not. It's very bad, especially into the thing about these kinds of
you need Phoenix Wright as your. This is like a Phoenix Wright public defender style composition right here. Like you need the mastermind to explain this one to try and get you out of the allegations.
Yeah, one of the problems with these kinds of wacky off the wall compositions is that they can sort of catch the other team off guard, but if at the end of the day your team is intentionally suboptimal off of the off chance you can catch the enemy off guard, which means that you are going to be kind of stuck in, yep, it's Brian, everyone. That's what the Brian champion does, is she goes berserk and dies. Has Arboreal played Brian before? That was interesting. I don't know what to say about that. That was just Briar jumping in, going berserk, and then dying to turret damage, which is what the champion unfortunately does. So, who knows?
Abigail just gonna run away. Does not want to end up in the same fate as Abigail, who is now has to be careful. That Diego running towards the top side, kiting up there, and Abigail, already down 2 kills, already down a level in the top lane into a bad matchup is not looking to be a great start.
Yeah, it's real bad. Already being down here. Granted, Mini Gnar is one of those champions that can be kind of exploited by these dive aggression auto attackers. Think like the Irelia is usually a pretty good matchup in the Gnar because she can jump on in the same way. Whereas I don't know if Briar has the sauce for that, and Arboreal is just gonna die again, by the way.
Yeah. Flash from mid to easy. The Knight comes down, will be able to pick up a kill for it. Will go down though, picking up the Feat of Warfare. Single-handedly giving the Feat of Warfare. Abriel has been all deaths and kills in this game up until this point, although that might change as Toad's getting run down. The Ignite goes through. Zeri Shelby flashing forward and picking up the kill. Now onto ZDB. It is going to be a 1v1 now. ZDB does have that lethal tempo stack, does do a lot of damage, is able to get the W. The barrier comes down, and unfortunately, Misfortune just not as great with the PTA in those extended fights. ZDB picking up 2 kills on the bot side.
Yeah, the Kaisa passive is just superior to the auto attacks from Misfortune there. Although, if you saw there, Zeri Shelby also fired a few autos at minions for whatever reason. Oh, come on, man. This is bullying. This has to be like, this is against the rules somewhere, right?
I don't know. Oh, is this it? Is this it? Rigor Mortis goes in. Cherry dodges out. Gonna be able to maybe pick up the kill. They wanted to give it to Jerry. Unfortunately, a little bit too much distance created. Aqua Urchin gonna be the one picking up the kill there. But Cherry gonna be able to walk in and get that first assist, get on the board now. But Rigor Mortis, Mitsubishi, and ZDB all with 2 kills. It is just very hard right now for Ronan. This was, like we said, a pretty feast or famine comp, and right now, they are not feasting.
Yeah. I will say a very good. Okay, we do have a dive here.
Yeah, ZDB going in. Zeri shall be able to get the first kill. The turret, ZDB, it's caught up off the second, but it will be a double kill for Zeri Shelby. Big
Honeycomb-
shutdown as well. So Honeycomb's
They're trying
Man,
to make
is this-
the game closer. This is
See, here's
Oscar
the
night,
thing.
folks.
I'm wondering if this is movable object meets movable object or stoppable force meets stoppable force. Because right now I'm leaning towards the second one. It seems to be stoppable force versus stoppable force because like look at this. It is just aggression across the board with both teams just throwing themselves into fights.
Yeah, it is both teams kind of taking very aggressive maneuvers and hoping they pay off. That bot lane dive was certainly ill-advised, but it ended up not paying off for anyone. They did get a kill, but Zeri Shelby turned it back around, and the top side of Boreal died. That's fine. Aqua Urchin probably dead. Okay, that's not how you play Alistar. You gotta hit the Q while the W's in the animation is the thing. So like while you're flying through the air with your W, that's when you hit Q, and it automatically will pulverize at the end of the headbutt.
Yeah. I will say, kill going over to Toad, definitely probably the most beneficial outcome. It is still a 1,000 gold lead at 7 minutes. We already have 15 kills on the board. This is 100% a voracious game. A Ruinous, which is the one that
It's Ruinous for high kills. I believe. I think it's Voracious for low kills.
Right. Okay, so the Ruinous probably gonna get seen this game. I'd have to imagine. With the state this game is going, although who knows, maybe we might just completely slow down and stop killing anyone for the next couple minutes. Abriel tried to dash out, and use that he is down the level 6. It looks like Mintu Easy's gonna be able to pick up another one. Boulder or an ult or something. It should just be a matter of time. Oh, Abriel with the nice dodge, but yeah, stats just too high right now for Mintu Easy. Picking up their 4th kill of the game, setting Abriel to 6 deaths already at 7 minutes. Meanwhile, the rest of the team farming kills, farming assists, and Cherry just farming the jungle.
Cherry fighting jungle camps, playing PvE this game, which, I mean, I don't know what I expected from Zeri jungle, all things considered. I think this is about what you'd expect. But yeah, I mean, Briar in lane, this is one of the reasons why it's just not a good idea, is because her heart. What are we thinking? This might work. This isn't gonna work. What are we thinking? We're literally okay.
Like
We can't stream this, right? Like
I mean, I were they behind the scenes? Were they hearing us hope for an early night? I don't. Abriel just not in the zone right now, it seems like, but fighting the bot side might lead to another zone. ZDB picking up a kill there on Aqua Urchin. Cherry potentially on the rotate, but unfortunately not going to be able to pick anything up there. As as insane as this sounds, I don't think the Zeri jungle was a terrible idea, all things considered. It just so happens that you have to have a 1 in 7 Briar to offset the spice.
Yeah. Boreal, okay, we did dodge the boomerang, so we live to fight another day, which will be today, of course, where we somehow die again. What's the play? What are we? Okay, we got a kill. We got a shutdown. Actually, we're bounty boosting. What you don't understand is we're bounty boosting. That's the strategy. That's what we're doing right now. I feel like the imposters sus this game. Anything to add? Anything to really
I mean you're just
clarify here?
starting. I mean we officially unlocked the Becky Schizo comment, so I feel like at this point at this point, it really is just a matter of content, right? Can the Ronin put Avril on their backs and just try hard? Because right now, the Zeri is 1-0-1. And if there's anyone with an insane, well, actually, I say if there's anyone with an insane chance to carry this game, the Katarina and the Zeri are both of those champions that can just turn a fight in a 1v5, you know, in the most insane ways. So you can never really count them out, but it's still, it is an uphill battle to say the least.
Yeah. Arboreal is not negative gaming. All right, this is a normal League of Legends, a normal Summoner's Rift experience. Zeri Shelby's gonna get dove on here by ZDB.
Yeah, and not a lot of respect from Zeri Shelby, not respecting this, although it might have been a bait. Zeri going in here, Cherry looking to pick up the kill. ZDP does manage to flash forward and pick up the kill, using it, getting the barrier, but burning both sums and giving a shutdown over to Zeri. And this is what we were, oh my god.
Oh, what are we doing? Come on!
You know, there was a hit Netflix show, 13 Reasons Not to Play Briar top lane. You know, dangers of cyberbullying.
We got one!
Someone manages to get towed.
We did it!
Although I feel like at this point, I feel like Audicom are very happy with that one. And they're going to be looking towards the Void Grubs as well, which would pick up the feats for them in its entirety.
Yeah, we're picking up our feats as Happier Cat has killed the enemy mid laner with the help of Aqua Urchin, as Oscar Knight continues here with Arboreal firing the ulti to try and get the lane faster. Mid too easy, dodging out on that. The second round of Grubbins goes over to Rig Immortus. That is has 3 objectives in pocket, big kills, very easily picking up those feats for the side of the Honeycombers. And very obviously, there's a power deficit here, favoring the Honeycombs, but
oh, are we gonna get collapse onto Rigor Mortis?
Oh,
Cherry
got
picks
collapse.
up the red buff, gonna be able to get the slow. Abriel getting them both over the wall, but Abriel, this is your chance. This is your time.
Redemption.
Oh, it's not gonna be enough. Happier Cat though flashes forward, gets the Shunpo off, and picks up the kill. And you know, as we were saying, the kill's going over to the people they need to right now. That Katarina, that Zeri, those are your hopes for this game. Those are your chances right now at a 1.5k gold deficit. It's already lost. The bright side that you have is, despite all the grubs, despite that tower pushing pressure, the Honeycombs haven't really been stacking dragons. Oh, Zeri Shelby was not respecting the Alistair engage. Now a jump in from ZDB, but unfortunately the Ignite's going to be the one to take it out, and Toad picks up the kill instead. Still, all things considered, I think things could be going significantly worse. Aqua Urchin did already use the jump.
They are
so now
attempting a dive.
ZDB, though, goes down to Aqua Urchin, and the Katarina's down here as well. Abriel dies again. Yeah, I'm not even going to talk on that. Happier Cat, though, looking for it. Unfortunately, Toad was there on the top side, was able to get the empowered recall from those grubs, meaning they're just going to take the free back, or sorry, from the Symbiotic Souls, not from the, I'm thinking it'd be the old, like, Herald passive now, from the Symbiotic Souls.
Yeah.
Can be able to get out just in time, but all the kills being traded back now. Happier Cat going in again, eating some poke. The tower goes down in the top lane, and Happier Cat's going to be forced back as the rest of the team goes out.
Yeah, the deficit in top lane is so catastrophic that it's hard to notice that the rest of the map is also kind of a bit of a struggle. We're gonna jet set radio over the wall as Cherry will stay alive here. Cherry actually doing pretty well for herself this game. However, Happier Cat kind of struggling quite a bit into the range matchup here. Katarina does struggle quite a bit with these kinds of champions like the Syndra, where it's very easy to just die like that, where you get tagged by one ability. There goes Brian ulti.
Oh no. Okay.
Wait,
I was so worried. I saw it heading
so
right towards
scared.
Rigor Mortis, and I'm like, oh god, not
it
again.
disappeared when it hit Rigor Mortis. I was gonna cry. That's my kind of Briar ulti right there. That's the one that I do.
2 and 10. We finally finished an item. It only took 15 minutes, but we finally finished the Blade of the Ruin King.
Also, I mean, at 10 deaths, this isn't Yasuo, but maybe we hit a power spike? Theoretic, possibly? I mean, the Blade of the Ruin King is not nothing. It certainly feels like nothing, considering that Arboreal is is the same level as Zeri Shelby, but you know, it's technically not nothing, as the second Drake will get picked up here by the Honeycombs, who have had total control of the map. Not really a whole lot that Zeri jungle can do to contest Rigor Mortis, especially when every lane is losing for the Ronin and deaths continue.
Yeah, it's getting rough. Aqua Urchin goes down there. She'll be trying to return with the bullet time, but it just doesn't do enough, unfortunately. And it's the Ronin really struggling to get back in. Happier Cat, though, on a mid 2 easy, can be able to get the ultimate off and pick him another shutdown.
Yeah, another shutdown going over to Happier Cat. ZDB gonna just land the Killer Instinct into the Prey Seeker into the Killer Instinct, and that is a kill for the Kaisa, who is gonna continue to fight this out very aggressively.
Yeah. Oop. Forcing the flash at least to not eat the root. Happier Cat goes in over the wall, maybe Rigor Mortis, but it's going to be Happier Cat picking it up. Rigor Mortis flashes forward. Happier Cat needs the ultimate shutdown, but it will be Aqua Urchin picking it up. Now Rigor Mortis on the Katarina picks it up. Comes in. Avariel just to die. Just to die again.
Thank you, Avariel.
We're what's the Avariel death counter? 11 deaths. At 17, not even 17.
We would like to clarify that Avariel is not negative gaming. All right, this is a normal.
He's just playing Briar.
Rift
He's just playing Briar.
This is a normal Summoner's Rift experience. Okay, we are trying to win. This is equivalent to when I'm tilted. When I used to be tilted playing solo queue, and I'd start. The secret method was, even if you were running it down, you just type in chat, "I'm doing my best" with a smiley face, and Riot couldn't get you because in chat you said you were doing your best. So
so real.
Even if you're sprinting
I will say that somehow, despite everything, Cherry has remained deathless up until this point, and has been playing pretty well, actually. Has the Wild Arrows finished, is starting to build up that crit. Potential collapse now on a mid 2 easy, who's forced to jump away. He's going to be picking up some petals. ZDB, though, potentially caught out. It's going to be Avriel picking up the kill on a ZDB. And at this point, it really feels like Avriel is more of a backline dive, or like, you know what I feel like it is? I feel like Avriel is the kamikaze nuke to start off the fights. Just get cooldowns, get damage, so that the rest of Ronin can come in and try and sweep the rest.
I mean, at this point, that's what your goal is. You're not going to participate in actually doing things, so you might as well just die and like force out a cooldown or like a Zanya's or something like that, because that's more value than you're ever going to get in this position. So really, I think it is the optimal position here, as Aqua Urchin is not in an optimal position and is in fact in a dead position, as they are now. The Elise do have access to the cocoon, and I mean, come on, man. Wait, Rigor Mortis is in trouble, perhaps?
Nope, totally fine. Completely out of there. We're not even 20 minutes into the game yet, and it looks like Honeycombs are moving to start to try and finish things off. Top inner finished out 700 gold to mid 2 easy. Rigor Mortis very low though, and taken out by Happier Cat, who gets the shutdown. Cherry flashing forward, has the red buff slow, looking for more damage on a mid 2 easy, and manages to pick up the kill as well. You know, I was kind of joking when I said it was really just Avriel making it harder on Cherry and Happier Cat, but that's kind of what it feels like right now. That really does feel like how the game is being played out, is that Cherry and Happier Cat, they're like, all right, we need, you know, last game was a bit too easy. You know, we memed a bit too hard. It's fine. It's fine. We just need to make it harder on ourselves. We have to put on the Rock Lee weights. That's what it feels like right now.
Yeah, they're really testing themselves, because when they face Ronin next week, because they're not winning this game. When they're facing themselves right now.
Oh,
the boss music is playing. Yeah, get counterplayed.
Oh.
Get counterplayed, bozo.
Cherry, first step of the game, unfortunately did not account for the fact that Syndra, I believe, has max stacks, and yeah, you just die. Avriel on a ZDB though, Lots of damage coming through. Finally, the bullet time goes out, and Zeri Shelby picks up the kill. Mid too easy, though, on the TP flank, and Abriel is going to be the sacrificial lamb to try and get the rest of Ronan out. Unfortunately, Aqua Urchin was not able to jump back to safety, as Mid too easy's looking to pick up another kill, another under the belt, another bone on that Gnar necklace. Zeri Shelby, with no ultimate, is really the only one here that is realistically able to defend. Happier Cat, if they even try and go in, can get immediately blown up by all that CC. Zeri Shelby has to be careful. Mid too easy, looking for the boulders. Not going to be found. Cherry finally back, though, and X, without any cooldowns, means that this fight might be Ronan's turning point. Finally, Happier Cat is able to go in, getting the resets onto Toad now, onto the extra dagger. Mid too easy getting run down, lots of damage coming through. Unfortunately, so much movement speed from the Gnar, and the flash out to safety. Still, more kills picked up for the Katarina, more assists picked up for the Zeri, who's now on the Infinity Edge. And, you know, we were saying there's no world. There is a world. It just so happened that that world happens to be 3 galaxies away. But it's there. It exists. There is a habitable planet.
It's not this one, but
it's not this one because we are focusing the Scuttle Crab.
But it's dead. We got it.
We did get it, and that is going to give us the movement
speed.
Oh,
Admorial's going in. Wait a minute.
Oh, managed to survive the stun. Cherry still does damage. CDB has to be careful. Abriel burning down, but is still going to be left alive as this Void Seeker not going to land. Cherry has to be careful. Taking out the wards is getting flanked now. Needs to get the cooldown for the E over the wall. Toad. Oh, finds him. Oh no, Abriel gets found out.
Alistar wins these. Alistar
Cherry has to go over the wall.
We're chugging potions. We actually are surviving. Wait.
It's insane to think about that with the Bork and with Toad having no... Oh no. Are we going for the execute? Are we going to be able to get it off?
I don't know if we've got time. We're going to attempt it.
Oh,
we did it. Everybody gets a piece of the pie, even the map. Even the neutral objective.
even the map gets a piece. Well, the rest of Ronan made it out to safety, and Abigail got executed. So all things considered, actually a pretty decent end to that fight. Yeah, we'll take it.
That was kind of a win. They ended up getting the Drake, and Aqua Urchin, I think, is dead, but we did get the Drake, and that is more than nothing, because it'll delay the Honeycombs from getting that soul win condition earlier, and it buys time. I do not know if the Ronin are gonna succeed with enough time. I don't know if time is the missing ingredient here for this Ronin composition to really thrive. They do have the Zeri. They do have Briar, who may get a second item eventually. And those are, in fact, 2 champions. But Zeri is dead, so I do not think that is gonna work.
Yeah, without being able to take that, all the pedal is going to go back over to Honeycomb. You're going to pick up so much XP, so much adaptive force. And it really does feel like, you know, every time they get, you know, a minor win, you're just reminded that, yeah, you have a 15 death top laner. Yeah, you have a 10 death support. Like, things are just hard. You know, even when you think you're playing well, you get reminded that you're just getting slapped with the wall at this point, and it's being very difficult.
Yeah, it's kind of tragic here. Okay, we're gonna pilot the Herald. It will. We did not drive it properly. Failed our driving test there, as Toad is gonna. Yeah, Boreal's dead again, and this might be the end of the game. Oh, crazy Gnar.
Ooh, nice back into the scatter of the week. Cherry forced to back out. It is Happier Cat going in, though, trying to find a return. Unfortunately, the stun from mid too easy lands. Cherry desperately trying to melt down the rest of it, but the Nexus is open. Rigor Mortis flashes forward, manages to land the root, trying to go in, gets him under the fountain. And all things considered, I think the more unique picks weren't actually that bad this game. Unfortunately, like we said, there's only a matter of time when you're this far behind. There's only so long you can hang on, and we'll see. Oh, are they? Oh no, they're trying to get Abriel again. Oh my god. Wait, is Abriel gonna? No way.
We did it.
Okay, well, the minions end up taking it out. That was bullying. They were really trying to put 17 deaths on Abriel, but it's still at 25 minutes on the dot. Honeycomb picking up the win, And this was Ronan's training arc. This was they needed to put the weights on for their match against Raiders this week because Honeycombs are almost certainly gonna be playing Typhoons.
Yeah, it's very clear that Ronan wanted to play against the Raiders, and boy, they're gonna get that matchup. So, they earned it. They earned the sixth seed this game. They deserved it. They fought very hard. Granted, the Honeycombs did not make it easy. They did give over more kills than maybe they should have, but against all odds, the Ronin were able to successfully get the matchup against the Raiders by losing the game. Very good stuff. They executed on their game plan to lose, and really you can't complain because they achieved their win condition. Maybe with a lot of deaths, but it's not negative gaming. This is a normal Summoner's Rift experience.
And look, I know it's because they did not stop fighting from 30 seconds to the end of the game, but somehow Briar ended up with the most damage, which is just hilarious to me.
The pick was good, I think, actually, when you think about it. Imagine. When everybody's trying to kill you, you hit them back, and eventually you get the most damage. So, really at the end of the day, it was the rest of the team couldn't carry or couldn't help Briar, who was doing her best. Absolutely criminal.
Yeah, I don't know if the best was good enough, but it is what it is. We tried.
Yeah. With that said, I don't know if we have. Okay, apparently there is the match result. We know who ended up winning because nobody's in lobby for the other Ruby match.
So I assume that means it's been determined. Surely we did not take them our draft plus the waiting time plus the 25 minutes that the game took to actually just get ready. Surely.
No, there's nobody in VC. So I think I think the astronauts won. If I had to guess based on the messages in the banter chat, I would have to guess that astronauts won that. So yeah. Not that I don't think the seeding really mattered in Ruby because Imperials and Spartans are so close in power level. Here it did matter, and the Ronins are going to have to do their best to fight against the Raiders next week. With that said, any final thoughts before we close out for the night?
Honestly, all things considered, I think most matches went the way that people were expecting. The big upsets only being the first matches where the 8 seeds were able to beat the 7 seeds. But other than that, there wasn't too much else going on. It was fun. It was a fun watch. It was a fun night.
It was fun, and fortunately, we aren't going until 4 a.m. for this gauntlet like last season. So, with that said, I have been Becky Rita with When It Rains and Chippy on the production desk. So we'll see you all for the playoffs, the quarterfinals of playoffs, which we're starting next week. Have a good evening. Take care.